All right. This is an episode that I am most looking forward to, because it's going to be on balance in Arknights. And as a gameplay man myself, balance is rather important. Balance is important in not multiplayer, but most online games today, like League of Legends, Overwatch, God Rested Soul, and all of the other games that I play. Balance is constant balance and patch updates are things that I look forward to on my week to week basis. And yet, Arknights and most Gacha games in general lack these things. And so I'm curious to know what the my Arknights boys here are thinking about balance at Arknights.
Team leader, Kukikaze. How about you go first, and then we'll go on to Dio.
What am I answering specifically? So what is my thoughts in the balance in Arknights? Like
Yeah,
whether I
about
think the game is uh
so like for a
I
specific
mean
topic, do you
yeah,
think that Arknights would be better or worse? And this is just like an example. Do you think that
okay.
Arknights would be better or worse if it had constant balance updates, like constant or like not? When I mean constant, I don't mean like literally every day. I mean every 3 weeks, maybe every month. There was like a group of operators that either got better or worse. They like got buffed or nerfed.
Okay. For me, I will say that okay, should there be balance updates? Yes. Yes, there should be balance updates, but I don't think it needs to be on the regular. It's more like if let's say AK notices that there are certain characters that is very underused, it might be a sign to say that they need to do something about the operator. So right now on my YouTube channel, right, I'm making quite a bit of operator showcase. It's like a new series that I'm doing. And my operator showcase don't always show like the good stuff. Sometimes I even talk about the flaws of the character. And one of the characters that I've vividly mentioned in my channel that I'm frustrated by is Doberman. Because Doberman, okay, her kit, her all entire skills, it fits her lore and everything, but it's very frustrating when you have an operator who is a 4-star, but somehow she only buffs the 3 stars for all of her skills combined. And it becomes a thing where you could see this maybe being utilized early game, and then later on, people just neglect her to one side. And she's not the only one with such a problem. There's more operators that I find to have trouble, like Duelist Guards. People don't really use it often nowadays, but they recently got a buff within the game. If you all are unaware, their base stats got improved. And then even chain casters, which could be very frustrating operators, even they got a buff recently. And let me just tell you, chain casters didn't just receive one buff in Arknights. They received a total of 3
Yeah, I was about to
buffs.
say it's three,
The
right?
third
Yeah.
one, yeah, and the third one, they already got their second buff, and the third one is coming in like 2 months from now. So and that one is when they have their chain caster modules updated. So I find that balancing is necessary, but it should be placed on the weaker operators. AK has a tendency to buff things, but they don't normally nerf things, which is something that I appreciate. Because if you go about the opposite way and you choose to nerf someone, you could cause quite a bit of anger in the community.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
rolling for this character, and then like when you spend hella money on it, you expect to get like the thing that it was advertised, but then like
Exactly. So
yeah, right.
imagine if you have like Tone's nerf or Chen Alter nerf or certain nerfed, like that would be an outrage, I feel, in the community. Like people
No,
be like,
yeah.
why do you
So
destroy this character that I pull?
yeah, so to start us off with, because the most direct comparison that I could bring to like another like the League of Legends, if you were patching every single week, what gotcha games have to be really careful with is they can't nerf things. Or they can, but God help the first game, the first gotcha game that tries to nerf a character. Because and I could immediately I can envision it. My mind palace. I can envision there being like Chen Alter or something like that that gets released, or Chen Alter 2 that gets released, and they're so broken that they break the game, and then people spend a whole bunch of money trying to get that character, and then they get nerfed. and,
I
and
think that's
the
why.
community just implodes.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
why Ganyu is not nerfed yet. I think I saw a video. It's because like people are gonna be outraged if they spend all that money because like she's the most broken unit in the game, and then like
Yeah,
she gets
yep.
nerfed, and now like people, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
you
kind of
can't
why.
nerf characters in
Backdrop of
Gacha.
the Gacha game.
Hmm. But the nerfs happens more for like other games like MOBA and shooters. If I think of Valorant, right? Valorant has one of their most busted characters, which is Astra, that is nerfed like hell recently. And
Yep.
then you got Rainbow Six Siege. It's always releasing both buffs and nerfs at the same time, and nerfs always causes a whole frustration within the players. Like, why do you
Well,
have to do this to my character that I always play? Like my main, for example.
yeah, so it causes a lot of frustration, and it can be really sad to have your main nerfed. Of note, though, the reason that nerfs happen in these other games is because they're a much more simpler solution if you make a big mistake as a developer, right? Like if you release a character who is obviously way above the curve, like breaks the game levels of way above the curve, then it's much simpler to just nerf that character than to buff every other character in the game that you want to be on their level.
Sure.
And there is something to be said of the fact that, and this is a more basic question: do gacha games that don't have any kind of leaderboard system or multiplayer even need these buffs and nerfs? Because the main things that we're comparing them to, like Valorant or Siege, they're all multiplayer games. So is there anyone here that thinks that there should just straight up should not be any balance because there's no need to, because it's a single player game?
No.
I think balance is still necessary. I mean, if you release a character and you realize no one pulls this character, then you'll probably be there like, did we do something wrong in the marketing category, right? So, in terms of gacha games, I think buffing is nice, but nerfing not so much. I don't really, I can't really think of a gacha game that has nerfs. Do you all know one?
I'm trying to. I know there is at least one. I don't remember which one. I mean, well, technically, Calcit got nerfed. She got nerfed out of the game for a while, but
No, but then hers is beta to
I
hers is
know,
like beta
yeah.
to now. So yeah.
she got the hardest nerf of all.
Actually, why would you say that she got nerfed though? What did she got nerfed by?
No, I don't think that was mostly a joke. I don't actually think she got nerfed. I'm calling her not getting added to the game a nerf, quote unquote. Yeah,
Ah.
it was a joke.
Now, surprisingly, by the way, it is rumored that Calcit's current kit, where people see that true, like busted, true damage skill, which is so fast to use, people are saying it's actually the same as the beta, and even the numbers are pretty much the same. So you are kind of right to say that they probably pushed back the release real hard on her.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny. It's almost like they anticipated. They're like, okay, wait for the power creep to catch up.
Wait till we release Surtur, you know. Once we release Surtur, once we release these busted operators, okay, let's bring in Calcit. That's the right time.
Wait, so that being said, Dio, are you pro buffs or anti buffs?
No, so as the like pseudo moderator, I had to play a little devil's advocate to my own position, because I think that even though it's a single player game, I think that quote unquote balance is completely necessary in single player games. Because if you have, well, so backing up a little bit, I'm a gameplay person in Arknights. I play Arknights mainly for the gameplay, and to me, I like coming up with strategies that are interesting. And if the strategy is take sledgehammer and break window in every single stage, then I'm going to get bored with the game, right? And so, like, if there's an operator that is so above the curve that it's breaking my ability to play the game, or breaking my ability to play the game in an interesting way, because I always feel like, well, I could just use Surtur, or I could just use Chen Alter, or I could just use Chen Alter 2. God, I really hope they don't release Chen Alter 2. Or anything like, I hope that Chen Alter stays the power gap or power cap for quite a long time, like Silver Rush did. And I
Wait, so why do you hate modules then? Because like they're buffing.
well, do one step at a time.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Trying to get to the war.
Yeah, we'll get there. I just wanted to lay the groundwork. So I think that all of us agree. Score IQ didn't mention much, but I think that all of us agree that that there is, or at the very least, we would like balance. I think that we all agree that balance would make the game better on a base level.
Yeah.
Balance will make the game better, but I again, my view is only on the
Only
very
on buffs,
like,
yes.
low end side.
Yeah.
No, and it's on the lower operators. In terms of the higher end, like the super strong ones, like those that we say that are super crazy, I don't think they need to be balanced. I think they are just fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say
mean,
I agree to some extent with that.
like if we talk about people like, okay, who are the operators that we consider the most busted right now? Maybe we can go round
Shelter.
table. Okay,
Surtur.
Chen Alter, Surtur. I would
You
say
don't know
Calcit as well.
Thorns.
Thorns,
I don't think
yeah.
Thorns is busted enough.
No, I really do think so. I think it's infinity like duration skill is fucking. It's too good.
He's too good in too many situations. I feel like his high end is not as high as most of the other operators that were just listed, but the fact that he is so good in so many maps, I think that that would allow him to be in busted tier.
Like,
The-
when are
the
you
thing-
not bringing Thorns?
True.
So the thing about Thorns that a lot of CN players will not recommend, or even some of the EN ones, is that Thorns is very good for general content. Meaning to say, if you're clearing like the story chapters, you're clearing the event stages, he's gonna be such a king. Like he just does everything. But if you are like the sort of people who cares about the hardest of events, so we're talking about something like contingency contract, that is when most people just drop Thorns. I mean, he's great for race 18. Anything beyond that, he usually falls flat because Thorns damage cannot catch up with the risk.
So I agree to
So-
some extent. So I do think that there is a slight issue with only looking at like risk 18 or even above risk 18 to like that's like literally the la creme de crop. Like that's like the very top, the hardest content in the game. But like I'm talking like even like some of like the harder challenge missions and stuff like that. Thorns is still really good in those.
He's just generally really good.
Yeah, it's not just like I'm clearing the story. It's I'm clearing the story and I'm doing the event missions and I'm doing the EXs of all of those stages. Which Thorns is still really
like
good at.
If a character is busted 99.9% of the time and 0.1% of the time they're not, like, it's like that character is still technically 99.9% busted.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use him like anywhere, except for
but,
maybe
but
CC8.
howsoever, even so, there is a lot of operators that fit that very category though. Wouldn't you guys say that if we look at
I feel
the
like
six stars?
Nobody can
there's
do what Thorns
yeah,
does.
there's-
Yeah,
fine.
well, wait, like who? Can you
Yeah,
name
but
him?
then again, Thorns can also do things that he can do, but other operators are doing things that he can't do.
Huh?
So if we
Wait,
talk
name
about someone
a-
like Mudrock, right?
Okay.
Mudrock is
Oh,
a
okay.
high sustaining operator. And someone who can hold a lane, someone who can heal herself, someone who can do some AoE spins, and even do some slowing. That's not what Thorns can do. Yet, Mudrock is seen as one of the craziest operators within the game. Aya's Volcano is still extremely relevant in the game right now. That's not what Thorns can do. Thorns is great at single target. Aya is great at destroying many, many things at once. And that's the same for Silver Ash, except Silver Ash is physical damage.
I
right?
might include Aya in the busted category, but we can continue this conversation.
Exactly. And then afterwards we bring Ash in, right? These are the operators that lots of people spilled their money for. Ash is
Wow, I
still
don't
seen as
think-
one of the craziest person for the
Is she
fact that
actually?
she's able to stun.
Oh, Ash is crazy. Yeah, but Box
Wait, no,
Ash
I
is nuts. Yeah.
I thought people didn't like her because she doesn't do arts damage.
No, Ash is no. Well, but so
Vox-
almost none of the
Vox,
snipers
it,
do.
uh,
But yeah,
I don't think arts damage is king
Yes.
per se. Physical damage
Ash.
is still appreciated in the game. So
Really?
That's
Nobody
true.
uses Exia no more.
Vox is not arts damage, you know.
Oh, he's not?
Box.
What the fuck?
Vox, Vox, are you
Wait,
okay?
wait, what?
Dude,
But it makes
Bo-
like the color.
But do you even
Vox.
Box Thorns is like your guy?
Wait, is he
Vox,
actually?
Vox.
No, wait, you're messing with me.
Vox.
That's-
Thorns is
what?
physical.
What
What the fuck?
what is Thorns' skill called?
Destreza?
Okay. Ooh, all right. I thought you were an imposter for a second. I thought that we were.
Okay,
I thought we
you
were in
see-
an alternate
you
universe.
see,
But it
Thorns
looks
has
looks like
arts damage talent, but it is not huge compared to the physical
It's
damage.
the
that he
poison, right? His poison is arts damage.
He has
Yeah.
a poison. He has a poison talent. I think you're
Wait,
learning something new today, Box.
wait, what the hell? How come it seems like he's always doing so much freaking damage, bro? Like what the hell?
Because he's a
It's
good
physical
operator.
damage, bro.
Numbers.
Wait, that just makes him even more strong. What the hell? Like,
Okay.
if he's a
Okay.
physical operator,
So
and
there's
he's
so
doing
many.
that much damage.
And okay, you see, even when we go away from Thorns, we go into some other operators. You got Saria. Saria is a healing defender. What can Thorns do? Thorns heals no one except himself. And then there's Bagpipe. Bagpipe helps all your Vanguard teams. So there's so many operators who is still as busted today
No,
as
That
Well-
seems like a bit of a false comparison though, because yeah, Thorns doesn't do the things that other people do. Saria cannot attack drones. Thorns can, Bagpipe can attack drones. Thorns can.
yeah.
Yep.
So basically, what I'm Thorns, you can pretty much bring him in any map. Like you're not always gonna need a Vanguard like Bagpipe. Saria maybe sometimes, I don't know, but like Thorns just has like a a general usability. You could bring them like a drone map, any map, physical, high defense map. I don't know, man. I just use them everywhere, and it always works. That's from my
I
experience.
get the idea that an operator can be used everywhere, but at the same time, I would also say that other operators can be used pretty much everywhere. And I think I also come from this perspective because of the fact that I am someone who plays with both my high-end operators and I also make guides. Like I make low-end guides. So I see this entire game and how the entire game is perfectly playable the moment you have like one, or if not, if you want to increase it, two strong 6 stars.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
basically the strong 6 stars is a lot of 6 stars, to be fair. Most 6 stars are very befitting of the term of being called a 6 star. And they, once you have them and you have some other classes, branches built, the game is pretty much clear. But of course, there will be certain 6 stars that makes the game so much simpler. Like it's even more brain dead, like taunts, right? Taunts kind of kills everything. And I think that's the part that makes this, like, why we call a gacha game a gacha game. You are still rolling for characters at the end of the day. And I think there's nothing wrong with rolling for a character that is stronger, but I don't like to call a stronger character like that. You know, I prefer to call them as a person who makes a game, like, at least clearing stuff even more easy to think about. But if you really want to have fun, you should just play the game with whoever that you want. There's what 200 operators in this game right now, and they are still releasing more every single day. If we only cared about the strongest characters right now, why do we why is the game still bothering to release even more people? You can say it's for money, but I mean, who's gonna buy it if they already have all these strong characters, right?
Yeah.
So it really comes down to that point of eventually people will see it as, oh, I've got a bunch of strong characters. I'm just gonna buy or pull for people who are fun to me.
Yeah, no, and you've touched upon something that's really interesting that I realized a few years ago when I was playing FGO, is that it's really funny because we have, and I know that this is somewhat sensationalized because of YouTube titles and clickbait and stuff like that, but you can beat, and they're set up this way, you can beat almost every gacha game with low rarity characters. And the game has to be set up in that way because the game cannot account for what characters you're going to have because it's a gacha. Because the game doesn't know, unlike something like a single player game where you can like finely tune exactly what character they're going to have and when, or like in like Fire Emblem Three Houses or something. You're like, all right, I know in general they're going to have a sniper unit. So or an archer, so I can throw like Pegasus units at them so that they can then use their archer against the Pegasus. However, in Arknights and in most of these games, in most of gacha games, they know that you have a sniper in air quotations, like they know you have Cruz and Jessica, and so they have to have every single map with drones beatable with a character, with a person that only has Jessica and Cruz. And so most 6 stars, or all 6 stars even, or all SSRs, I should say, they are made in a way where they're not necessary. They are completely they're superfluous, whatever that word is, extra.
Mind if I share my screen? I've got something very interesting to show you.
Sure. I don't know if
you can watch it. You can look at it. I can send you the link. You can always source this later on. But you all are seeing this. This was an interview that was done in 2020. I shared this on my stream. I never shared this in the video. But basically, they asked the main producer of Arknights some questions. And there's a question that I always remember. Like, it's so fond in me because it tells me what makes this game as wonderful as it is. So you can read all the questions. There's so many different sorts, but the one that I want to highlight is this one. How do you adjust the balance of the game while you design the stages? And the answer was, our game designers and stage designers will use low star or free to opt-in operators to test our stages.
Yep, yeah, they have to be designed in this way. I assume that all gachas are like this. I assume that the devs literally have to playtest and make sure that every single stage in a gacha is beatable with only the free to play and the low rarity characters. Because if you make a stage actually need Surtur, then every single person that hasn't rolled Surtur not only feels bad but is screwed.
Wait, then how do they know it's not too easy like the stages?
Well, the
Because
true
you see,
question is that
even-
you don't, but you hope. But
Okay, like for
Okay.
example, right? If we let's look at a stage. Let me just quite quickly pull it up. Let's look at a W. What event had Dusk? What was it called?
I can't remember.
Who is real?
Who is real? Okay, let me just open up a Who is real, a Who is real stage. Wait, what? I believe it's WREX7. Let me just check. Is this Kilstein's video? I think it is.
because in general, it's the amount of effort that's required for those clears. So you can theoretically beat like the Rainbow Six Siege challenge mission, the very last stage that was a pain in the ass. You can beat that with 3 stars. Yostenvi and Ekogen did it, and they showed you how to do it. But the amount of micromanaging you're going to have to do is pretty insane for those maps. And
do you recognize this stage? Sorry, Dio, you're going to continue, and then after that, I'll show this.
and it gets way easier if you have these higher end operators. So they are made to have a really low barrier to entry, but every single 6-star or every single 5-star, even, well, some 5 stars. I'm looking at you, Savage. Every single 5-star, it makes that clear that you have to micromanage everything a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier, so that you don't have to like you don't have to like place down gravel at this exact time and then activate the skill at this exact time and do this. It becomes much more brain dead.
Dude, that stage cookie, oh my god, bro. It was
Remember
so
this?
yeah.
Although, not
so-
gonna lie.
It's correct. You speak first.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. The whole like for Arknights, I feel like they kind of mitigate that as well, because technically, if you get all the free operators that like Arknights has had since the beginning of its lifespan, there are some actually pretty good ones there. So
Yeah,
like
they
it's
are.
not like all the free 5-stars that we got. Like technically, Texas is a free to play unit now. Fucking
Yes.
She is?
Texas. Yeah.
She is. You can get her from the missions.
Oh right, no, I remember. I made a new account and I got her from that.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also Scene. Scenes are really. Do you guys think Scene is the most powerful free 5-star?
I would say yes, to be
Uh,
honest.
No, Tequila
She's
is the
she's
most
a
powerful
summoner,
free
though.
5-star. for
Tequila,
me.
yeah,
Oh,
Tequila.
I forgot he was free.
yeah.
I forgot he was free.
Tequila's really good.
Scene is up there as well. Scene is also very good.
I thought Scene was
Yeah.
best because there's so much
Also-
things you can do with her.
Fucking
Like-
Gladia. Come on.
Yeah, Gladia is a
Gladia.
6-star. That's
Oh,
given-
Yeah,
true.
like-
Gladia is technically a welfare.
They
Yeah,
gave a 6-star for free. Like,
No,
Don't know what
let-
Gladia does.
her
Here's the
use
thing,
case is a
Gladia's a
little bit
6-star.
niche. Yeah,
yeah, but like,
Very powerful though. Of a
Yes,
6-star,
yes, very
if you
powerful,
if you know
yes.
what to do with her.
Yep.
And right now in CN, they are having a Laterano event. It's basically a Mostima team event. And they announced, I believe the welfare 5-star is a 5-star pusher for the first time. So they're giving a pusher for free. So now the whole set is complete, a puller and a pusher. Yeah.
So they're like, okay.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, like they finally completed like the Pokédex of like
Yeah.
all niches.
So if you look at this stage I'm showing, this is WREX6, right? And WREX6 was one of like a terrifying stage because it was so confusing. You had to place the blocks, you had to change the color, and you had to block the enemies. And you could brute force this. You could throw in all your 6-stars, all your 5-stars, and clear the stage. I've seen so many people who told me they didn't know what they're doing. So they're like, anything goes. Whatever they can kill, make them kill. And that's not how you're supposed to tackle it. You're supposed to tackle this stage like strategically to enter it, figure out how to place the blocks so that you can best handle all the enemies. It's things like that AK works very hard to make new mechanics that looks daunting, but yet they still ensure that even if you have like you're a new guy, you just joined the game like a week or 2 weeks, you can actually still clear it. They've already play tested it, it's possible, but it's not going to be as straightforward as put everyone at the blue box. It
You
might
gotta
mean,
use like 100% of your brain.
yeah, it might mean
Oh,
putting
yeah.
some people at the red, some people in the middle of the map, some people at the end of the map in order to piece the whole thing as your entire strategy. And that's the thing about a 6-star. A 6-star cuts away the thinking. A 6-star makes you think less so that you can clear the stage easily. But a 3-star, 4-star, you can still beat it with them. It's just you need to be a bit more tactical about it. And that's, I think, what makes me like the game and also makes me say as to why the game doesn't need balance. The game needs balance for some of the really unused operators, but for some of the most used ones, I mean, if people pull them and they get what they deserve. They paid some money or they save their randoms, they get all these good operators, and they deserve their game to become easier with these operators. That is why I'm on
sound a
support
bit
of there isn't need.
pretentious, but I think that people can kind of screw themselves out of their own fun if they like end up with a lot of powerful, like in general, like I'm taking this from a more like general game standpoint rather than like gacha in specific. That like, you know, if you give people options that aren't, you know, inherently good for like the health of the game or like, you know, the play, you know, the play experience, and you do it just to give people options, they will take these options even if they have the option to not do it, because, you know, impulse, we're human, you know. And I think that's why nerfs would have a point, like, you know, in giving nerfs like that.
Well, I actually I feel I'm more on the side of Kuki in this particular interest. Interestingly enough, that I feel like the way that gacha games are set up, as I'd mentioned before, to be cleared by all 3 stars and lower, the for the most part, I feel like most 6 stars are made to be broken. They're made to be quite literally above the power curve. Most 5 stars even are made to be above the power curve. I think that and what you were talking about, Skorak, is correct. There have been studies done, and there have been game devs that have mentioned this before, that people will optimize the fun out of their own experiences. People to have a very strong tendency to go towards what is efficient and not what is fun. And so, if what is efficient is easy to obtain, even though it's not fun, they will do that, and then they will not have fun with the game. So if Silver Ash was given to every single player at the start of the game, then more people would probably quit Arknights because they would just use Silver Ash, and then they wouldn't have to think, and they would never know that Arknights could actually be really fun gameplay wise.
Okay,
Silver Ash is
critically.
really bad early game though.
Well, you
What?
know what I mean. Well,
Oh
yeah,
no, you meant it at
he's really
Elite One,
bad.
is it?
Oh wait,
Yeah. He's.
oh I get
don't
it.
know,
Alright.
Okay,
yeah.
I wouldn't
I'm done.
say that he's bad at early game. It's just it's not easy to realize what he does early game, because early game you only have the option of his skill 1 and skill 2, right? You don't have his skill
Yeah.
3. But his skill 2 is a substitute defender, and in fact a very good one. But a lot of people don't realize that, because all they hear is
Sing.
Silver Ash skill 3 swing is the best thing. So what's the point of using skill 2? I mean, I still use skill 2 nowadays if I think it's necessary, but it's less often than skill 3, of course.
Haha, sing go burr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
okay,
you know,
critically and brutally speaking, when you said about the people having strong operators and leaving the game, it reminded me of the early era of Arknights when there was a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers at that point in time. I felt like a lot of them, of course, a lot of them may have left because of Genshin, right? A lot of people ported over to other gacha games that they thought were bigger, more relevant, or the ones that could get them the views.
Yeah,
And instead,
Genshin's release was the Great Disappearance. Yeah.
yes, and at that point in time, I feel like that's okay. The Genshin part is a pull factor. It pulled them out of Arknights. But what about Arknights that pushed them away is that these people cared so much about the meta at that point in time. If you look at some of the old videos and all the new character release, like the 6 stars, most of the YouTubers at that point in time, they love to inflate the 6 star or even some of the 5 stars. Like they'll talk about, oh my god, Aya is faster.
Yeah,
There's this new operator Chen.
This is what I was
Blaze.
talking about before, where I said that there's some like YouTube clickbait or sensationalization going on, and this is not unique to
Exactly.
Arknights. This is I am a person that has played maybe 20 gachas at this point. I have been through many releases of gachas. This is a thing that YouTubers will do. This is a thing that not only YouTubers will do, but websites will do. My number one hated thing that I've learned over time is the words must roll, because if it's an SSR, it's not a must roll. If it's an SSR, by design, it's not a must roll. No character is a must roll. Here's pro YouTuber tip from a YouTuber. Okay, audience, if you're listening to this, if somebody is saying must roll, it's a lie. If at worst, I'm sorry, at best, it's a slight hyperbole. There is no character in any gacha that you literally need to roll to beat any of the content. As we were mentioning here, 6 stars are ways to turn off your brain and to allow you to not think as much when you clear content. And so, as you were saying, Cookie, I 100% agree that I feel like one of the big problems, not just with Arknights, but in general, what turns people away from gacha games is that they feel like they have to get certain characters and they don't get those, or they do get those characters and then it ruins all the fun for them because the gameplay is basically an auto battle at that point.
Yeah, it's a syndrome, you know. It's like a disease that I see. I stream a lot, and all the times I get new viewers coming in. So this is a hugely popular question, right? Believe you all will even get it in your YouTube comments. There will be people saying, "Hey, should I build this character, or should I pull this character, or should I build this
Yeah.
over this?" And I get it was eats me up because it feels like a lot of these people carry this mentality that there is a right choice, that they have to do a certain thing in order to play this gacha game properly. And that's something that I never ever like encourage within at least my own streams. You know, often when I see this question, I'll just tell people, dude, this is your own game. This is not a game to sweat. It's literally a PvE. You play your own style. Rather than to see AK like a competitive thing and people need to collect whatever is necessary, I often tell people that people should see AK like it's an adventure game. You build whatever characters you want. You choose, you're free, go about it. You build a character well, you learn how to play them, and then you just mix and match. It's literally a create your own
Yeah,
thing.
well,
I love to call this game a sandbox game.
I've always, not just a sandbox, I've always compared them in my mind to roguelikes, where whenever you start like a save, quote unquote, whenever you start a new gacha, it's kind of like starting a new adventure in a roguelike. And you don't know what characters are going to carry you throughout that roguelike, right? Like maybe you just don't have a good sniper. That'd be really funny, wouldn't it? From me not having a 6-star sniper for the first 7 months of Arknights. Yeah, that'd be really funny. I'm so not salty about that at all. And so then that shapes what stages you have trouble on and what stages are really easy for you. That's actually one of the only things that I actually think a gacha brings a positive impact to the game that it's in, is that feeling that a save is yours, that feeling that like a certain gacha account is yours because of the trials and tribulations that you went through due to the gacha giving you certain characters.
Yeah, I mean, that does definitely like that does apply, but like that's the whole thing with the gacha. You can never like account for the possibilities because remember when I was like, when I was saying about like people screwing themselves out of their own fun, like
Yep.
I'm mostly feeling strongly about that because that was kind of me. Like not to like flex or like try to like, but I had pretty good luck. I rolled and I mostly like there was a time where I was only missing 2 6-stars. Like I've never like really paid in the game. So it's like I never like besides the initial stages where I was like under leveled, I've never really had an issue with the gameplay. I always just throw the operators at it, and if it gets too hard, just kind of like maybe adjust a bit, and I'm gonna be good. And it's also kind of funny that I think I'm the person here that cares the least about gameplay,
Oh.
in the game.
Ox only cares that there's pretty pictures when he's summoning, but
Look, I care about gameplay, all right, but it's just not that much. I'm mostly over here for the
sure
the
you do.
pretty effects.
I care about gameplay. Thorns does art
Why are you doubting me?
Thorns does art damage.
Bro,
I
dude.
care about
Bro,
gameplay.
I cannot believe the
don't
one
read.
who wanted Tons the most and then said Tons was busted, had no clue.
Look, I actually don't read at all. I mean, I'm sure you like, but it looks like it. It feels like it.
I resign my
Hey.
previous statement. Holy shit!
Wait, can I just say, is Silver Arts damage to you?
Yes.
Oh no.
Wait,
no.
what?
Oh my god!
Oh,
What?
no.
There's no way.
Oh,
Wait, there's
no.
no way.
Silverash does
Wait, there's
physical.
no way.
Silverash does physical. That's
There's
why.
no wait. It
Yes.
literally shreds armor.
The
Wait,
reason,
wait,
the
wait.
reason,
Okay,
the reason
okay,
why,
hold on, hold on.
the reason why Surtur broke the meta was because she was the first, really like intense, concentration of arts damage. You know that, right? That's why Surtur is so good. Is because she deals arts damage, while Thorns and Silverash do physical.
I feel like they always did the same kind of amount of damage
Wait,
though, but
Wait, what about Blaze?
she has to be physical, right?
What
She's
about
physical.
her skill 2? You know her skill 2, the one where she gets increased range and then she starts busting things down? Is that physical or is that arts?
I'm gonna have to go with no.
What's no?
Wait, it's not. Wait, what do you mean?
Physical
It
arts
means no.
damage. No.
Wait, what?
No.
What's no?
What do you,
It does no
is it
damage.
not a yes or no question? Is it not
Is
a
it
yes or
what?
no?
Does it deal
I
physical
don't
and
know.
arts
No,
damage?
is it arts damage or physical damage?
Oh, no arts, no arts. Physical.
Does
It's
it,
it's physical to you.
I still love that.
Wait,
Does
is
it
it
deal
arts?
physical or
Okay,
arts
okay.
damage?
How about Chen
No.
Outer? You know Chen Outer, the really busted
Okay, no,
character
that
right now?
has to be arts. That has to be arts. Right? Hello?
I think we're just gonna move on, and we're just gonna.
Wait. Tell
We're
me
not
first. Tell
gonna.
me first.
No,
Is it-
no,
One last
no, what-
question. One
no.
last question. Okay.
It's not.
Okay. So, Calcid with Monster Skill 3, is that physical or art?
No, that's arts. There's no way it's not with that. Okay. What the fuck?
Okay, we're moving. We're moving on.
No,
We're
I'm
moving-
sorry.
Fuck? How?
Oh no!
How?
Oh no!
I'm being,
Oh no!
I'm being made a clown. What the
Oh,
Dio, I'm really worried that you're posting this as our second episode. I think
Oh,
this is gonna be
no.
fucking hilarious.
Oh
dude.
yes, no. This is gonna be. This is a. Okay.
Wait, there's no way. Wait, there's no way. But bro, she does true damage. She does
Yes,
true
she
damage.
does true damage. It's neither
Yes,
physical or
that's
arts. It
true.
was a trick question.
Yes.
True
Oh, wait, so
damage
there's
is
no-
not physical or arts. It's like a knight in League
Sorry,
of
so
Legends.
wait. I'm just gonna re-ask one more time. Is Chen physical arts?
Wait, which one? Chen Alter?
Chen Outer skill tree. You know, the
You know-
very crazy one.
Yeah. I feel like the next thing I'm gonna say is gonna make me an idiot, man.
He's
No, you're gonna be fine.
Arts, bro. There's no way it's not arts. Like she's
Okay.
shooting there's a reason why she's so broken, right? It's because she does as much
Is
damage
any,
as
sorry,
her.
is anything that's arts damage to you just broken operators immediately?
Yes, kind of. You
Bro,
know what? You know why? It's because I watched a Tectone video. He said
that's
he
what
said the
I-
meta is not.
That's what
Bro,
arts damage
that's the
is.
source. That is
What-
literally what I was trying to say just now about source of misinformation. Like
whenever
a
there's
lot
a-
of YouTubers in the past, they see big damage, they just be like, "This is crazy."
Oh no, I love the idea that whenever Box sees high damage numbers, he's just like, that's gotta be arts damage, right?
No, that's
That-
silly because I remember watching a Tectone video. He says Xe is not getting anymore. The meta
Fox,
is arts
if
damage
you
now.
ever stream again, invite me to your stream. I'll give you a lesson. I'll give you bro. I'm literally gonna give you a lesson that will literally make your viewers feel like you are 100 times smarter than you are today.
Cookie, he's too
Wait, really?
busy.
It's not gonna take long. It's not gonna take long. It's literally gonna take 5 minutes.
He's too busy
Holy
beating every
shit,
map
bro.
with Thorns' arts damage on his sculpture.
Dude, I really thought he did. You know how blown my mind was when you said it wasn't arts damage? Like it looks like art damage.
See, listen,
And that's
Thor,
the way that-
listen,
You know that
I,
your
Thorns is, Thorns
sorry,
is somewhat forgivable because he does deal arts damage, theoretically, like he's kind of mixed damage, but like
yeah.
the fact that you thought Silver Ash was arts damage, my guy,
But
I
it's.
I love you, but how?
I thought no.
What?
It's.
That's like the
There's no way. There's no way.
you can look it up.
I-
You can look it up. Sing Sing does
No, but-
physical.
But if you were to look at the skill and not like if you've never read it before, just
No,
from
that-
visuals,
okay,
it
okay.
looks like it's art, right?
Do you think I should give the 5-minute tutorial? It's very
No,
quick.
no. I mean, if you want to try to give him the tutorial, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever read the enemy stats?
No.
Never?
Never.
So
I've
you
never
enter
read
the stage and
anything
you
in my
have no
Cookie, never
clue.
mind.
Yeah.
Abort. This is not a 5-minute tutorial. Cookie, this is not a 5-minute
We'll be
tutorial. This is
here
a half an
until
hour. This
tomorrow.
is a half an hour
Are you
tutorial.
aware? I mean, god damn. That means, whoa. I mean, it goes to say something that goes on in the game, to be fair. I noticed this from players as well, where there are some players who really don't notice whatever that goes on. So they play by sight. They don't play by information, which
That's
is
me.
not a bad thing. Because that's how some people approach gacha games. You know, when I make easy tutorials, right? I still get people who do not understand how to replace operators, what they're supposed to do, because they simply don't see what goes on the stage. And I think it you could say it's basics, you could say it's fundamentals, and I think it's perfectly fine if people don't catch it. It's just how are we gonna go about fixing that sort of issue for like the common players to not be shunned away when they don't realize what's going on. Because I've seen a lot of people leave the game because they don't understand these stuff, especially if they don't get strong operators at the start. So there's that. A box, don't worry, you'll figure it somehow. I believe after this podcast is uploaded, probably people will mention it on your stream. Yes, no bully.
I feel stupid.
Continue. You're used to it. Did you just say that?
I feel stupid, bro.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, I had
Where
myself.
you-
Oh, I'm gonna have to do a specialist meme again. I muted myself in OBS, so I don't know how long I was muted. Anyway, so I'm sorry.
And
Anyway,
continue.
yeah, no bully. To back up again. As I was mentioning, I laid all of the groundwork, so we all agree that characters should be buffed, at least in the most extreme cases, like the cases that where they're literally not usable or they're really really bad. However,
Like
most of us,
Flamebringer.
yeah, like Flamebringer. And we all agree to some extent that most characters should not be nerfed. Like maybe there are like the extreme ends, like Chen Elter, that should be nerfed, as Gorak was talking about when I was muted.
Mhm.
But most of the characters should not be nerfed because you can't nerf characters in Gacha games. Now here's where we come to the
Yes.
spicy one.
Oh.
Modules suck.
But why?
Modules are a awful half measure for buffs.
Okay, we can't say anything about this. You gotta start this first.
Okay, yeah.
And
see
you
your
gotta
opinion.
explain
I gotta
what
start
do
this?
you not like
Yeah.
about it.
Okay, so I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here. I like that modules exist because they're all that we have, right? So if it's nothing or modules, I would prefer modules. But what makes me angry is that it's kind of like I've been begging Hypergriff for so long. I've even made a video begging Hypergriff, please give me buffs. I've been begging, I'm like, please, I'm so hungry, please, a buff, sir. And they'll give me like Nightmare gets slight attack buff or something like that. I'm like, oh yes, thank you, sir. And then finally they're like, all right, modules are here. We're gonna be buffing characters. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then they give me like a plate of half a plate of broccoli. And I'm like, I wanted a meal. Like, please, like, it feels like they wanted to buff characters, but either they wanted to it's, I don't know, it's just this weird half measure. It's this weird in between actually buffing characters, something like where another game like Fire Emblem Heroes or FGO will do, where they'll actually buff characters and they'll make them either substantially stronger or just a little bit stronger, and nothing at all. And it just makes me sad that they didn't go all the way and actually start buffing characters. I don't like that they have to buff whole entire groups of characters. I think that that's weird. I don't like that they cost materials. I think that that's weird. And people are calling them like an E3 basically. I just wanted buffs, and I feel like I've been begging for this one thing in Arknights for so long, and I like got this weird Frankenstein version of what I wanted. That's why I'm mad. That's the only
I'm a
real
bit
reason.
confused. Like, what then? Okay, modules is not what you want. That's fair. What do you want exactly?
I just want them to buff character. I just want them to take characters like Suginogi and Flamebringer and Hung and just buff them. Just make them
Okay,
on
so-
par with characters that are inside
Hold
of
up.
their niche.
Hold up. Flamebringer, for example, that you stated, is buffed.
Yes.
And he already got his buff. He got a quite a big, slightly under 100 attack stat stick buff recently.
Yeah.
Then Tsukinogi is buffed, but not in a satisfying way enough. She had a whole subclass change
Yep.
in CN. It will happen in about 3 to 4 months. Basically, her trait right now says that instead of attacking enemies with arts damage, her trait is when you use her skill, she heals people for 75% of her attack.
Mhm.
So they completely reworked her archetype in order to buff her, which some people said it really wasn't good enough. I also think so. But
Wait,
sorry,
hold up. Now I'm curious. How much does the modules even buff?
It depends.
Like, how much
it
stats does it give?
varies.
Yeah.
It varies. Some are really high, some not as high. For example, Mostio haven't got a buff yet, but I believe Skadi, the duelist guard, she got I think 80 to 90 attack increase,
Is that
which
good?
is
I
actually
don't even know.
in numerical terms it's actually quite high. So the part that I'm quite confused by is that what more were you looking for
Yeah, so-
when you said you
Yeah.
want buff?
So it's really simple. I actually, for one, there are two different ways that I can go about this. One, I don't like that they're grouped and they're buffing whole entire classes at the same time. I think that this is
Yeah, actually, no, that's
yeah,
pretty
I
bad.
I was
think
definitely
that-
gonna say that.
yes, that's my one. And we can talk about that. But the other one is that I don't like, because they have to buff whole entire classes. The way that they're doing them is that they're buffing let's say that they're buffing all AoE casters. And then when they buff all of those AoE casters, most of them just get stat increases that are dependent on the individual operators. And then one operator within that class will get a special module that will actually alter what they're doing. So Tsukinogi got a special module that altered what she was doing, and I actually
No.
that.
Tsukinogi's buff was not because of her module. Tsukinogi's buff was separate from her module.
Okay. Well, then that's even great. Sorry, that was my bad. That was my misinformation. I actually really like what they did
even
with Tsukinogi.
Even when I said Flamebringer just now, Flamebringer's buff is separate from his module.
Okay, yeah.
Chaincaster's buff were also separate.
Yes, I remember. I know Chaincaster's and I knew Flamebringer was. I didn't know Tsukinogi was. I assumed that Tsukinogi was due to a module. But the anyway, the going back to what I was saying.
Use Tsukunogi. Oh, sorry.
Wait, what'd you say?
Nothing,
Anyway.
bro. It's not.
So I like the cases like Flamebringer and Tsukinogi. I like what they're doing there. It's just that I feel like modules are just in this really weird case where so again, like going to like the one with what was it called? I don't remember what I'm blanking right now, but the Swire archetype. What is that archetype called? Like the Swire support guards.
No damage.
Yeah, support. no damage guards.
They really don't.
Yeah. The one that got the special one there was Doberman, if I remember correctly. And hers allowed her to be, I think she can now be placed on ranged as well, right?
Yes.
Yes. And I think that like that is actually really good. I think that my problem with modules is that they're just done in this really weird way, where I much prefer them just doing the buffs that they're doing for like Flamebringer or Tsukinogi, where they take a character and they really do a deep dive. It's like, all right, what can we actually do to fix this character? Because I feel like, for one, attack and health bonuses, even if they do make a character viable, are just really boring. Where there are characters like Swire, even if Swire is viable now, and I don't think she is, but even if Swire after the module is viable now, it's just really boring because she just hits harder. Where the Doberman buff, due to a module, is actually really, really cool because now it changes the way you play. She can now be placed on ranged tiles if I know this correctly.
Okay.
And so if they had just
buffs, sorry, continue.
So if they had just done the Doberman thing to like Swire and or every one of these characters individually and give them like what they needed, I feel like they're just glossing over a lot of these characters a lot of the time.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I do sometimes wake up at night in cold sweat at the thought of a boomstick sniper module line.
No, that was again. That's one of the problems where like, what happens when you give ranged guards a module? Because I think there's like at least one bad ranged guard. Is there? I might be wrong. They might be all broken, but
ranged guards.
The Silver Ash archetype.
I mean, there are less unused ones compared to the used ones.
Yeah, because ranged guards are like in general very good. But like, let's say they're like the worst ranged guard. It's like the gem dude, the Hoseki Kuni looking dude, Arsene, or oh god, his fans are gonna hate me. Arene?
You're either gonna say it's Arene or Earscarp.
Okay.
They are the least used range guards, I would say.
Okay,
no, I mean the least used is definitely Midnight, but
wait, she's a ranged guard?
Oh, Midnight, yeah.
First of all, Arene's a dude. Anyway, so the Arene is like good. Arene is like good, but like probably the least used of the ranged guards. And so if you wanted to buff Arene, you're also going to have to quote unquote buff Silver Ash, and that's a really weird situation to be in as well. And of course, like you could just like, buff. Here's like 10 attack and 10 HP Silver Ash. You go in the corner. And it's like, well, then why are you even doing this in the first place then, right? Like, who wants to put like a whole bunch of LMD and materials into what is essentially like an E3 so that they can get basically no stats for Silver Ash because we wanted to buff Arene, so now we're gonna have to buff the whole entire thing with modules, and it's just I don't understand.
Yeah, you
know,
know,
that's literally how we end up with the Backbite module, which is like Backbite was fine. Like Backbite was fine. Now she's just fucking completely.
Yeah, she was
most broken module.
Yeah, she was.
Actually, I feel like she's kind of weak.
Yeah,
she's really strong. Oh my god!
No, it's because she only has one.
You just don't know how to use
really strong.
Backpipe is
she only has
strongest
operators. Really?
Backpipe is really broken.
Bro,
no, so how I try to use her is like, I would place her down at the start of the game, and she only has one block, and then
don't place
two wolves came by.
She's not place her down.
You don't even place her down.
You use her like a fast redeploy.
You don't even need to. Yeah, first of all, you don't even need to place her down for her to be broken. She just she allows Myrtle and Elysium. She allows Myrtle and Elysium to get online really quickly, and also she allows, like in general, she allows your vanguards to get online quicker. And you can also, as Cookie said, you can then use her as a fast redeploy unit to kill like one important unit and then come back because
Or
She
multiple.
doesn't. Yeah, she refunds her whole entire cost when you pull her out.
You know, a lot of the bosses
Uh,
that we have in the game, like Jakilla, the Mansfield Break one, and then what are some others? Even Pompey. I actually think Backpipe can kind of kill it within her skill tree.
Really?
It's that strong.
Yeah, she's a really good unit. She can be used for a lot of different scenarios. And so again,
She was
when
said to be a fake card.
when they gave the
Maybe
DP,
I'm just using her wrong.
when they gave Bagpipes class a buff, or sorry, they're not buffs, they're modules. When they gave them modules, Bagpipe just needed to get a module, which is just like
Okay.
weird. Like why?
Okay. So I'm gonna get some stuff across. I have never made a video to talk about modules in depth like that. I wanted to because I think the misconception is super high on this. The first part of all is maybe it's up for debate. Is modules a elite tree? Because I always hear this in the community. I will start off first. For me, I don't think it's an elite tree. It is not supposed to be called an elite tree because first of all, the stats increase that a modules provide is not the same as what a elite 2 from level 1 to level 90 would give. And when you talk about a promotion will give you like a whole big talent that is going to be very impactful, or even a whole new skill that you can use in your operator, or maybe some insane stat stick buff. And modules don't necessarily do that. The buff that a module give compared to a promotion is so much smaller gameplay wise. Some people might say, but then there's a whole trait change. So wouldn't that be like an elite tree? Because elite tree gives you a new talent. Now, you can't see modules as like they are mandatory. Like how you stated, why did Backpipe get a buff and all these sort of things. I think if you want to answer that question, you can answer as to why did the developers even thought they need to do this? They could have just left it alone. Don't buff anyone. Just let all the operators sit there. And if we try to then again sit in the shoes of the developers, they are pretty much doing buffs and modules because a lot of us right now in the game were level 120, especially if we first start in day one. In the CN side, many people are already at the level cap. And they are all there just saying, what's the next big thing? What's the next game move that you're going to make us endgame players enjoy the game even more? Some people are Leviathans. They've got level 90 operators everywhere. And they're kind of bored. They are looking for something new. So modules then came in as a way to then say, hey, we're going to put some changes to your favorite operators. It could be anyone. We're not even caring about just whether it's a meta or non-meta. Modules were not made to buff characters, actually. Modules wasn't doing any balancing work. They were just there to add more fun for people to experience. And you're going to get this. You never needed a module. Do you know that when you get a module, you can undeploy them? Unequip them?
Yeah, you can equip. Yep.
Exactly. So they weren't necessary in the first place. If you hate modules, it's not like the game asks of you to do it. If you feel FOMO, that's on you. But yeah, it's basically a very optional thing to just experience.
I agree with. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
The last point that I would put is that they will want to do this to every operator because they don't want a certain operator to be left out. You see, they're doing it by classes and classes now. And if, for example, let's talk about the chargers, the Backpipe class. If they did it only to say Vigna and Granny, and then they didn't do it to Backpipe, then all the Backpipe wanters or lovers are just gonna be there like, hey, what's in it for me who really, really likes Backpipe? Are you gonna leave me out from this? So that's what they don't want to do. They want to make sure that everyone gets a piece of the pie. When they make sure from each class that they go to, they are giving it to every single person of that group. And in the future, not all operators will only have one modules. Right now, the developers have stated that the plan for modules is that they will release modules for every single archetype.
Oh shit!
When
for
every
real?
single archetype has received a module, including some of the busted ones, by the way, including the lords like the range guards, the anti-air snipers, every single archetype will receive a class. Right now in CN, it's quite huge. The next module they're releasing is AoE casters and AoE sniper, which is very exciting to look at. When every archetype has received a module, they will release a second set of modules for each archetype again. Meaning, you can switch modules.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait,
the second module might do something different from the first module and might have a different stat buff. So what do you think about that when I say it that way?
No, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So let me just get on my soapbox. I agree with almost everything that you've said. And to get into this is one of the reasons why I don't like modules, is because I just I don't see why. So like when I try to put myself in the perspective of the developers, as what you were talking about before, it's like, well, let's look at it from their perspective and why they're doing it. It just seems like the weirdest way and the most like obscure back alley way to do what they were trying to do. The
Is that the theme song?
No, it's the thing that Dio puts when he's cutting. When
Right,
he's
right, right.
doing the. Yeah, so I'm just doing the ambience. Hey Dio, once you're back and see this recording, yeah, you can just use me.
Wait, do you have a CN account?
I forgot my own birthday.
No, I don't have CN account.
I forgot my own
Just
birthday.
keep
Oh,
up with-
today's your birthday?
Today's my birthday. I forgot it was.
Whoa!
Today.
Happy
Happy
birthday!
Happy birthday!
Let's
Fuck.
go!
You do a happy birthday stream.
You forget your.
I forgot it. I forgot.
How do you
forget?
forget your own birthday?
I forgot.
Damn.
I,
All right.
Wow.
At least your memory has regained. That's the best part.
No, my family came into my room and started saying, I'm like, why are you here? What do you
Why-
what do you,
Goodness.
what do you want? Who are you?
What do you want? What? Who are you?
Who am I?
Oh
Who am
You want to
god.
continue from here?
Where the hell were we? What the hell was I talking about?
Please celebrate after this, yeah.
Kind of like we were at the happy birthday. Damn.
You all should make sure to celebrate together thereafter.
as a side
once
note,
this
well,
whole call is done.
As a side note, while this is being recorded, happy birthday to Polarisu as well. It was Polarisu's
What?
birthday today. Yeah.
Wait, so
we
you
both had
both
the
have
same
the same
birthdays?
birthday?
No, we're actually mine is we're a day apart. His is March 12th. Mine is March 13th. If you're watching
Happy birthday,
this.
Risu!
Your family wished you at exactly on the dot. Is it like midnight?
Well, no, it was a little bit early. It's 10 over here, so they wished me a happy birthday 2 hours early, but
Two
Okay.
hours early.
Yeah.
Now you know that tomorrow's your birthday.
yeah, true. So actually, tomorrow's my birthday, not today. Close enough.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm celebrating my birthday and Polarisu's birthday. It's mine now. I'm taking it over. The hostile
Taking over.
takeover.
Right.
Hype is over for
It's
Risu.
Mastime Day now. AFPL day has ended.
Whoa. I don't like Mastime Day.
Oh no!
Dude, they should
What?
really
Oh, what?
Oh.
What?
Oh.
What? Wait, Kuki, I thought you would agree with me because you're a gameplay guy and like Mostima is kind of like
Yeah, Mostima's great.
wacky. She's wacky.
I think wacky people are the most fun.
You know what? That's true. But
Blue tongue.
I mean, especially when you can play them well, people get impressed more easily. Like people don't
I
get
could-
impressed when you play with taunts. People get impressed when you use like Starfire.
you gotta call me out, man.
I mean,
No, but true. I swear, I can't
Pretty
can't
much.
beat most of the stages, even though I'm using all the meta characters.
yeah, it depends. I mean, I'm not that deep gameplay guy. I don't know. I'm chilling.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the things that Arknight stages will never get to the point where some other gacha games will get, which you throw numbers at them and they just kill over and die. You know,
You can't
like
do that. Yeah,
Arknights
not in this one.
is a hard gacha game. You know, with I'm saying this with like massive glowing quotation marks.
It's really hard. Yeah,
I think it
but
is a
it's
very hard gacha game.
Hard.
it's a little bit too hard for me.
I mean, I feel the difficulty even if I play the game well. I started the game being a terrible player before whatever I am now, and like I had to grow a lot to really understand the mechanics of
really?
everything.
I thought it was more
Yeah.
like a natural kind of thing, where like if you're smart, and you can't really like learn. Or maybe that's just
I-
me because I haven't changed at all.
I don't know. It depends on your willingness to pick up the game, and like I worked hard at it because I wanted to be a good YouTuber. So yeah, I have a whole backstory for that. But yeah, I remember playing terribly when I first streamed, and I think it demoralized me very hard. So that was the part that made me say I want to learn the game better, and at least be someone that people will say, hey, I'm watching someone who actually knows his shit. So yeah,
Okay.
that was that.
yeah. So here's my dissertation on why modules suck. I remember where we were supposed to be at before I got interrupted. So again, I feel like when I try to put myself in the shoes of a developer, I just get confused because so as an E3 they suck, or as an like an Elite 2.5 they suck. As I said before, they're really, really boring because all they really give you is stats, and then like maybe if you're lucky, you're the one inside of your group that gets the actual cool thing that changes how you are.
Oh,
Like
wait.
Doberman got a really sweet module, and so and also if I have to wait 13 years because so I don't know how long it's going to take for them to give a module to every single class and then circle back around all the way back to give the so if you're like a DP on kill guard, right? And uh wait, who got the ignoring that, if you're a no damage guard, um and your favorite operator is Palace, then how long are you going to have to wait in the hopes that your character gets a module that's interesting and actually changes what they're doing? Because if they're going to do this for like every time that they loop basically and they give a module to every single character, then it's going to take like 13 years for you to ever actually get a module that changes how your character works, other than just giving them minor stat upgrades. So again, as an E3, as an E3 or as an Elite 2.5, I think they're just bad. I think they're not interesting. So just to start off with, I think that they could have done something.
The point that I would counter argue is that I don't think they should be seen as an E2.5 or 3.
I agree. I think that there are a couple of different ways that you can see modules, and specifically as an like another elite level. I think that I not that they're bad. Okay, I'm being hyperbolic here, but of course, I think that they're really uninteresting. I think they're kind of boring. As like if it was to be this like new thing where it's like, oh, all these players are at their like level 180 or something like that, and all of them are like basically just logging in every single day and maybe playing the events because there's nothing left to do, then I think that modules don't help that. I think that Wishlash getting 35 attack and 35 defense is not going to, if I'm a Wishlash lover, I'm not going to go like, hell yeah, I can't wait to use Wishlash in all these cool and interesting ways. It's like, well, she does the same thing and is slightly better at it.
Wait, so what would be like an ideal buff then? Like,
no,
say
like,
for
so I think that, so again, I think that most of the unique modules are good and what they should be doing. I think that what they did to Tsukinogi is good and what they should be doing. I think that in some cases,
I would like to remind you.
I know. Well, I know. I'm saying that, like, I think that the buff, the individual buff that they did to Tsukinogi, that's not a module, is good, and that's what they should be doing. I think they should be actually taking a look at the characters who are either underused or even like kind of maybe on par, and seeing what they could do to uniquely help this operate. Like, what is the problem with Swire? Is it just damage? If it's literally just damage, and that's the only way that you can think to improve Swire, or even like to give her a unique thing, to like make her playable, then okay, maybe give her damage. And to put this all into context, I come from FGO. That is my first. I've said this before on the last episode. That is how I color everything, all of my Gacha experiences, and that's why I compare everything to a standard. In an FGO, you get characters who very specifically get buffs to their specific kit. You don't just, sometimes you'll get like an NP damage upgrade that will just give them damage. But a lot of the time, it's like, all right, why is Vlad bad in FGO? Well, Vlad is bad because he can't loop. Well, okay, let's give him NP generation on skill 3 so that he can loop. And so with Doberman, why is Doberman bad? Or even like, how can we help Doberman and to make her interesting? Because she's just unusable right now. Oh, well, let's see if we can put her on range tiles. So that now she's a really interesting unit where you can put her behind a sniper and she can kind of be a buff to a sniper while also being one of the only units that can do the things that she does. I'm like, okay, I just want you to do that. Make the characters that are really bad, not just usable, but interesting. Give them new niches.
Okay, I'm gonna freeze you right there for a quick stuff. So I get your idea of how it's towards specific kits and all, but I got specific questions for you as well. Have you seen all the modules yet?
Not every single one of them. I've seen a decent amount of the ones that were out like a couple of months ago. I haven't seen like the new ones that came out in CN just now.
Because when you talk about specific stuff, then I mean there are going to be modules that's like that.
No, I think there's one in every group of modules, correct?
Yeah. I mean, they could also be both, because even when you say damage and whatsoever, it's not exactly going to be disadvantages, because these sort of skills, like let's look at the idea of Swire Wishlash skills, can attack enemies from range, is the usual stuff. When attacking enemies not blocked by self, currently their trait says increase attack to 120%, but the module changes it to 130%. So there's an increase in that. And it's supposed to be bigger benefiting towards their skills, which it's really to each their own whether this bigger damage is something that you like, because it can be very impactful in the game, depending on how you use them. And to your stand on Doberman being very interesting because it can be deployed on range tiles, I would argue that it actually does nothing. No one's going to use Doberman.
Yeah.
So to be fair, okay, Because I'm more concerned, I guess, that like I'm not. I should be very clear. I should back up. Let me rescind this. I'm not mad at modules. I'm just incredibly sad because I see a massive missed opportunity to do something interesting. I think that with Dobermans, I'm not even really concerned about a character being broken or being used in Risk 18. What I'm concerned about is a character's reason to exist in the game. Like, Doberman was kind of cool, but as you said, was kind of disappointing. Well, now, not only does she have the niche of buffing 3-star operators, but she has a niche where she can buff high-range operaters, like snipers. And so
She can.
and so you can be used in a whole bunch of interesting ways. And so, like,
No,
I just want you to be
you're
interested.
misunderstanding Doberman. Wait, Dio, I need to slow you down. Doberman doesn't buff any range operators.
Does she not?
No.
Am I an idiot? Oh, no.
Her module says can
Are
deploy
both-
on range tiles.
Are both me and Box idiots? Oh, no.
Hey, don't drag me into this.
You're coming with
No,
me.
really.
Fine.
Doberman only buffs
perfectly
3
fine.
stars. She doesn't buff any range operator.
Oh, sorry, I was getting confused with Palace. I'm an idiot. No, don't. Oh, fuck. I am Box. Oh, no. I'm Box 3. Oh, no.
You
Oh, no.
don't.
I look like a real idiot.
I'm not gonna be the standard for idiots.
For some reason, no. I'm dragging you down the Gacha hell with me. I'm so
Really,
sorry.
really, yes.
Yeah, no, I was getting confused
That's
with
the
Palace,
thing,
but no, like her. Sorry, not her buffing snipers, but like she can be really, she can be interesting nonetheless. She can be interesting because she can be placed. She's a guard that can be placed on range tiles that allows her to do so,
In a sense,
while also
at this
buffing
point,
3 stars. I got those two confused somehow. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, so in any case, I would say that the idea of interestingness, it will happen all over, and it's really to each your own. There will be modules that will be good. There will be modules that will make you question, like, why did they do this? And I think it's fine, whichever way that they kind of do it, because they're really like splashing it all over the place. All the operators get it. And the event order as to how they release their modules is always in the major event. So those that have like 2 weeks long major stories, they will always get modules. And yeah, even as we go on down the list of the modules and you see even more, if you don't know about Deep Colors module terribly changes the gameplay.
Yep.
I don't mean terribly in a bad way. It's insane.
No, I
Or the
agree.
fact that you can
I really like Decouplers module. So I would say I like most of the modules that change. So again, I think that within every single batch of operators, there's one that gets an actual module or an actual module that I would enjoy, but it's just complete RNG whether or not they get that module. And a lot of the time, it's not even like the weakest operator. It's just like an operator that gets the module that I think should actually be given, that actual module should be, in my opinion. Or not should be, but like, I would really like it. I'm sorry. I want to change my language. Again, going back to like that theory of like, hey, I'm like really, really hungry. Please, Hypergraph, please give me what I want. They came so close with modules, and I'm just mad because I'm disappointed. I'm like, you were so close to literally exactly what I wanted inside of the game, but like you did it in this like really weird, awkward way, and I'm just like, why? Why? Just buff the character.
How about I ask you this? Because we are talking about what is your ideal buff. Maybe I can just go like round table. Duelist Guard already got a module. Have you seen it yet?
Duelist?
No.
Yes, Duelist, like Dreadnought, like Skadi. Flamebringer.
I think so. I don't remember. Who was the unique one in that?
Okay, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't remember, what is your ideal buff?
I have
how
to
about
hold on.
ask that first?
Let me go look at the
So
Duelist
that I can
characters real
then
quick.
say what. No, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
No, I don't need to know.
Talk about
I'm not
what's
looking
your
at
ideal.
I'm just looking at who the duelists are.
So look at, okay, you can see them, and then maybe the question I asked the three of you, I think I'm the only one who knows what the module, so I can't answer this. But what is the buff you want for these Duelist Guards that you think you'll be super happy with them? And then we'll discuss what's the actual module that is given to them.
Okay, let me get the notebook.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have no idea why Flamebringer is bad. I just heard that he was bad, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, so
I'll
let's
skip
Just
that
that
one.
he
I
was
know
bad
it's not.
because it was perpetuated by a certain YouTuber.
Yeah,
So-
Flamebringer is rough for like a couple of different reasons. Like even in his best case scenario, he just takes too long to ramp up.
let's see. So for Skadi, maybe actually make her fast redeploy. Maybe like
Okay,
half
so
her
Oh,
that's
damage.
actually,
fast
wait, that's
redeploy,
actually
okay.
really-
She's already a half redeploy. No, I agree that the
Yeah.
I think that going deeper into that niche and making Scotty like a full on fast redeploy. I was even talking about this with Yato earlier, where I think like a really cool if they ever made Yato alter, that would be really cool because I think that making Scotty into fast redeploy. But
Yato alter.
yeah. Listen, I'm a Yato simp, and I would really love if they would give me a 5-star Yato alter. Anyway, get on that hypergrip.
I really hope.
I'm judging. I'm judging real
really
hard. man.
hope
You can judge me. I'm fine
they-
with it.
they- I
Yato
really
is really
hope
good, by the way.
True.
2 stars more.
No,
I
So-
really hope they use those more love.
Okay,
Ye-
but I would say that the idea of buffing Skadi and reducing her redeployment time even more, that's probably not realistic because that will change her entire class. That's
I was
technically what
about to
no,
fast
no, no, no.
redeploy
You don't even need.
specialists
No,
do.
you don't need to change your class. I think that would be the interesting part. If you make it, so I think that like if you make her fast redeploy as fast as Red, but keep her a guard, or maybe like a little bit slower than Red, but keep her a guard. That would be her unique. That would be her unique niche. Similarly
By
to
terminology, okay, by terminology, the community might then make noise about this. Like those who are literally word like critics. I think there will be people who's dissatisfied because you got to understand
Hey.
that Skadi as a fast redeploy, technically that is what Phantom does,
yeah, but
and
so
Phantom actually does more damage than Skadi.
Yeah,
yeah, no, I mean that's fine. But
100%
the
low.
no, what I was thinking is that so Yato, the reason I like Yato so much is because she saved me multiple times when in like CC when specialists were banned. She can actually be used when specialists are banned as a fast
In
redeploy
place of a
unit.
fast
And I
redeploy.
think that and I think Scotty just takes too long to redeploy. Her even as a pseudo fast redeploy, Scotty just takes too long. And so if they wanted to buff or nerf or shorten her buff her anyway, if they wanted to shorten her fast redeploy time, to make her like actually fall into that niche even more. But as a guard, I think that would be really interesting.
It's still not that bad. There's a stage, 718, where Patriot appears.
Yes.
It's been done with only Spectre and Skadi.
No, I think that even right now, Scotty's not that bad. I think like she's a little bit hyped up, as it were, in terms of being that bad. But if
No, I think
they
she's
wanted to
really bad
buff
for
her,
now,
I think that
but-
would be one of the more interesting ways to buff her, off the top of my head.
Okay, so that's an
Neural does-
idea.
Neural does not
what's
need
the
a
other
buff.
ideas?
Neural doesn't need a buff.
No has a buff,
Uh,
however. Sad
I
to
know
tell
she
you,
did.
but-
Neural. Well, I'm talking about NTR, not Neural. Did NTR get a buff as well? I actually had to because she was in the.
yeah. I
yeah.
was referring to Null the Radiant Knight, not
Yep.
Null Defender.
Yeah,
The
yep.
healing defenders haven't got a buff yet.
Yeah,
Haven't got
so
their modules yet.
NTR needed to get a buff because that's how the modules work, which again is one of the reasons I think it's weird.
Okay, so that was for Skadi. The idea for Flamebringer, not sure how like feasible this is for a module, but like you know what Helliger does?
Right.
skill
Which
3.
part?
Does not receive healing.
His skill 3, the like the whole like in a straight line, you just drop like a
So
big,
increase his
cool,
range?
like sword beam.
Wait,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
asking
yeah,
for
yeah,
a full skill change
That-
on Flamebringer?
Yeah, that's
But give it barbecue caster range. And do it.
Oh.
Make
What the
it happen.
Wait. At
only
this point, you're
once.
asking for a whole new.
yeah, that's a whole new character right there.
Yeah, it's a whole new operator already, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay, you gotta notice something about
delete
modules.
Flamebringer, add a new character.
Modules, yeah, modules do
For
not change
Flamebringer,
their skills.
for Flamebringer, I think that will be acceptable.
And this is my
She needs it.
this is kind of my point though, Cookie. What I kind of want is maybe for some characters changing a skill or like adding a whole entire other function onto a skill is necessary, which modules will never do. Which is like one of my main points. Why I'm so disappointed.
Yeah,
with modules.
okay. That's why I'm waiting for any more suggestions. Like, what are you looking for
I
before I
think-
share the answer?
Yeah, for fighters, because you were fighters, dreadnought guards. But if it's the ones that I'm looking at right now, I think that conviction should not get one. I think that conviction being a meme is kind of their whole point, their whole shtick, if you will. So I think that conviction being bad is fine.
Continue.
I don't even
I
know.
think they should give Scotty like two block
Okay.
and like hits 2 at a time. To be honest.
Doesn't
Okay,
Scotty
then
just-
I'll
Okay,
Let's-
idea.
sorry.
Bee Hunter gets a stacking attack buff
Oh, that's
the more she attacks.
Sorry,
A
you're
single
answering a
time.
different class. That's a brawlers.
That's brawler, yeah.
Oh, wait, why is Conviction here?
Conviction is
Duelist.
better than
Yeah, conviction is a duelist.
yeah. Conviction
Conviction is a duelist?
Yes, it's
Oh, I
it's
didn't know
Conviction
that.
doesn't
It's-
attack as fast as a brawler.
yeah, it's Castle, Conviction, Flamebringer, Franca, Matoi Maru, Balantha, NTR, and Scotty.
Yeah.
All right, guess I did have my box for a moment here. Okay, sorry.
Matoi,
Come on, man.
Matoi Maru, by the way, is a case where I feel like it's just stats which are the problem, because I feel like she's really close onto that level, and if you are going to buff Matoi Maru, maybe stats are the only thing that she needs.
Okay, so I'm gonna
No,
I'm
maybe
gonna
for
drop the
Matoi
answer
Maru, you
because
could-
sorry, continue.
maybe for Matoimaru, you could do like a thing because she says that like, oh, her body heals like in general. You could do like just add a lifesteal effect to her attacks.
No, that's what her skill is for,
That's
right?
what her skill does, yeah.
Well, yeah, but like
Just like all of her attacks.
even more.
So
Anyway.
I'm gonna
Even more.
without let's not delay too long, because I might
Yeah,
ask another character, but Matoimaru, Flamebringer, and Skadi receive the same module. So I I I I think you're all looking at my screen, which is good. You all didn't spoil yourself. You can look at it now if you want, but I'll read it. When defeated, they do not retreat. They can instantly recover their HP. Their max HP will drop by 60%, and they'll gain 30 ASPD, triggering once per
wait.
deployment.
When defeated, does not retreat.
What do you think about that?
I think
Sounds a little
it's
strong, bro. What the hell?
I think it's pretty good. So again, these kinds of things are what I was talking about before, where I think that these, especially for Matoimaru and Flamebringer, are interesting. I think that for Matoimaru and Flamebringer, it goes into their niche of being of what they're trying to be. I think that for Scotty, this is a little bit weird. This module's weird because it's not like what she wants to be doing. I guess she kind of wants to be 1v1ing. Like
Okay,
whether or not it's
so
strong,
possible,
if
the,
yeah,
the CN players assess this, and they have stated that the module have actually greatly improved Skadi.
yeah.
Really?
So again, whether or not it's strong, I was talking about like whether or not it was on theme. So whether or not it's strong, it's probably strong. But and again, as you said, if CN players say it's strong, it's strong. But I was saying that it fits thematically less for Scotty than it does for Matoimaru and Flamebringer.
I think you might not be not thinking of the correct skill for Skadi, because it's actually best on her skill 2.
Yeah,
So it's
skill
the
2,
fast
yeah.
redeploy skill.
Yeah.
So for instance, if let's say someone specs her and they manage to destroy her HP, she will still stay in the battlefield and take out the last bit of damage onto the people. So she will ensure that she exhausts her skill 2 before you retreat her.
Yeah, before your trigger.
So
Yeah.
like a mini server?
Kind of.
In another sense, Skadi is physical damage and Zerka
Yeah,
is
don't
fast damage.
let's not bring that
Just-
up
Wait,
again.
wait,
yeah.
no. Scotty is not fucking physical.
Let's not
Wait,
bring
what?
up let's
You know
not
what,
bring
I'm-
up the let's not bring
I
up
mean,
the
no,
let's
I'm
not bring
done
up the
with this,
physical
no.
word
Okay,
anymore.
but yeah.
No.
But anyway.
So anyways, yeah, so this is an example of like a thing that really changes it up. And even in the next update for directly in EN, you're gonna see some really game-changing stuff where, for example, for
No, I've seen these before, yeah.
Yeah, the multi-target medic, Perfumer is able to heal 4 people at once, which is not usual. We don't have an operator that does that. And even for the expand attack range, basically the AoE medics have, it's not a role, they only have a singular tile in front, but it has been said that this singular tile has changed up a lot of the ways that people play the stages, even though it's just one tile. And because you can think of it, it's like you get that Kelsit range increase-ish kind of thing. And there's a lot that goes on later on. And even some of the busted ones, like Phantom, receiving a module that says that he refunds 80% of his deployment costs on retreat. And that's crazy. Another one that I can show would be, if we scroll down, yeah, Bagpipe is the crazy one. Gain 2 DP instead of 1 DP per kill. And okay, Ling is ridiculous. Ling gets more summons,
Wait, she got a
making
module?
her, yeah. Ling is arguably maybe the most busted operator in Arknights right now. Yeah.
Oh
I still don't know
god.
what she does yet. Oh
Yes,
god, more than 10
arguably the
ultra.
most busted. But she is not an easy operator to learn. Like, people are gonna have a hard time actually understanding how she works. But
Yeah,
when
'cause
people know
summoners,
how to
yeah.
use her, she's actually one of the craziest operators in the game. And later on, yeah, there's gonna be even more. Oh, merchants. You know, merchants currently eats 1 DP, 3 DP every 3 seconds.
Yep.
So basically, you cannot deploy anyone unless you have a Vanguard. So now they receive a module that says that they eat 2 DP every 3 seconds. So you actually still have DP generation. So I find that as much as we may not enjoy the state of modules on the early phase, but it is something that we should at least still say give a chance to the developers to go about making the best use of this game feature that they're doing.
No, so as I said at the start of this, do I like hate modules to the point where I wish they didn't exist? No, I think very strongly that they're obviously better than nothing. If this is the way that they've chosen to go about balance, quote unquote, in the future, then this is fine. I don't hate it. I'll live. There are some things that are really really cool. I feel, as I mentioned
Yeah.
before, I think like the perfumer one is really cool. I think that it enhances her niche. I think that the ones for Flamebringer and Matoimara are interesting. I wonder how good Flamebringer is with that. Maybe he's actually good enough. Anyway, the um and some of the unique ones I think are really really cool. It's just that there's this overwhelming feeling that I feel like for most of them, it's just like, well, my favorite operator got 100 health. That's okay, I guess. I guess I'll wait for like 2 more years until my class of operators, because that's almost the only ever time that they change operators, is when they're changing whole entire classes. Like, well, I guess I'll just wait like a whole 2 years for my class of operators to get buffed again, and then maybe it will be an interesting one. I feel like that feeling is really bad, that they've added with modules. And also, I feel, as I mentioned before, I feel like there's this overwhelming feeling that I have, and maybe almost no one else does, but like when if I was like a really big Mr. Nothing simp, right, or like even like a really big Project Red simp. Man, if there was only one of those in this chat, yeah, it's like.
Oh, imagine.
And you're looking for like reasons to like maybe use Project Red if you have Phantom, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for Project Red to get buffed, because like she's been kind of like falling off a little bit and stuff like that comparatively to the other operators in the game, and it's like, all right, the project. Well, I'm saying like this is just a hypothetical example, right? I'm not saying that this is actually true, because Project Red is still a very good operator, but so again, like, oh man, maybe I kind of want to use Project Red or something like that. I can't wait, like maybe Project Red will get buffed, and then the modules for fast replay come out. It's like, oh man, Project Red gets and Phantom also gets the same exact buff. Okay.
Yeah.
That just feels bad. Like, I don't understand. Like, why are you buffing whole entire classes of operators? And I understand why. It's just like, I feel like to me,
if I rephrase your
Hypergriff, I will take my Project Red Alter 6-star and the Project Red event as an apology for that. Very graciously.
can I rephrase your opinion? Because from the way it sounds like, right, it sound like you're saying that certain operators deserve buffs and certain just don't.
Yes,
They
correct.
kinda
Yes.
do, though.
Yes, Chad, yes.
Kinda
I will Chad yes to that, yes. I feel like that certain operators don't need buffs. I feel like not every single operator in the game needs buffs. I feel like
Then what do you think about the view that I've stated that
certain operators shouldn't be left
yes,
out?
certain operators, yeah.
So, well, and again, I think that this is why what I was talking about before, when I look at it from a developer's point of view, this is why I kept calling it a half measure. I feel like modules, to me, are this weird in between an Elite 3 or an Elite 2.5 and actual buffs for characters. Because it's very clear, because you say that they're not buffs, but they did give them to classes that were bad first. They gave them to chain casters. They gave them to DPO and kill vanguards. They did not give them to range guards first. This was very obviously, in my eyes, an attempt to give the time, give a time for the weaker classes in the game to shine. So they're pseudo buffs in that regard. And also, if they weren't buffs, if they weren't meant as buffs, then they wouldn't have given different operators in the same exact star level different HP and attack values. It's very obviously, or different HP and defense, or whatever the buffs are for that certain class. It's very obviously that they are kind of buffs, kind of, but not really, because of the weird way that they're gone about and distributed. And this is this is my main problem, where it's like, I feel like they tried to wrap E3 and buffs into one thing, and you could have just made it two different things. And like maybe that would have cost more development time, but yeah.
It's a perspective dislodge here that you're seeing it as this is the intention that they're going for, that they were trying to do buffs, where, as I've already stated, that this wasn't meant to be seen as buff. Because if you look at the stats numbers, for instance, you have to notice that the 6 stars receive a bigger boost of numbers, for example, the attack value, compared to the 5 stars, compared to the 4 stars.
Yes.
So it already goes to also say that their message here is, we're not here to buff your weaker operators. We're here just to give you more boost to basically everyone. And which I get your view now, that then the side of you is not satisfied. You wanted certain operators to be really big and crazy. But then the other thing that I also need to understand here is, are you asking for operators to each of them singularly be busted. Like each of
No.
them should be crazy
No,
in
no,
their
no, no,
own
no.
rights.
I'm not saying obviously every single character can't be busted in their own rights, but at least give them time to shine in the sun. At least give like maybe, and like this would be like a
Okay,
in my
in this case,
yeah.
is the responsibility of making an operator shine the developer's responsibility or the player's responsibility?
No, it's not the developer's responsibility, but it would be nice if they did it. In the perfect world, they would buff characters that are bad, at least for like a little while, to allow them to to allow them to shine. And so what I was talking about, to go back here, I'm not talking again. I specified so like 5 stars, so like deep color. No, sorry, deep color. What's it called? Scene and Mayor got two, are both in the summoners, and but when they got their modules, they got different level, they got different stat buffs. So the two operators in the same exact star level, but they got different stat buffs. So if they weren't balancing, then shouldn't they all get the same exact stat buffs, right? But they didn't get the same exact stat buffs because different characters obviously need different kinds of buffs and different levels of buffs because very obviously, as I mentioned before, this is, I say very obviously, but to me, modules seemed very much like pseudo buffs. They seemed like, well, characters in the same star level in the same class are going to get different buffs, so we're trying to pay attention to individual needs. And also at the same time, as I'd mentioned before, the very first modules were for classes that were very underpowered in general, like DP on kill and
DP
no
on
damage
kill is not
cards.
underpowered.
In general, they were. No, Bagpipe was not, but in general, DP on kill was a pretty underpowered whatchamacallit. There were in most play. The other one is no damage cards.
We
Support,
could
but yeah.
argue that certain operators are weak and whatsoever, but if we look at the first few classes they did, summoners, okay, they are hard classes to play, but they have their own parts or duties to play in the game. The later modules, the second update of modules, there's multi-target medics. How in the world is multi-target medic any weak of a character? And then after that, in the third update, they put it on executors, which is the fast redeploys, which in no way they are weak operators.
Wait,
So
what? Hold on, wait.
we-
I think we're wait. No. The first ones were support guards. I mean, the third ones was AoE medics, and I think after that.
the first update, okay, each update has 2 classes. So the first one
you're
had
right.
support guards and
I
summoners.
forgot. Sorry. That was my release orders were getting weird.
And then the second one has multi-target medic and sharpshooters, which is Embryo and Drainer, Firewatch.
So the second, okay,
And then the third,
yes.
Yeah, then the third one has fast redeploys and chaincasters. The fourth one has swordmasters and chargers, the DP on kill. And the most recent one, the fifth one, has merchants and duelist guards. Later on, 6th update is AoE casters and snipers. So
No, I think that with
of course we can.
I think
Sorry?
that with I think that most of these are rather weak, and then some of them are the exception. Like I think that if you go all in all, I think that the only ones that the only classes that were actually really strong were AoE casters and AoE medics and fast redeploys. I think that those are the only two out of every single one of the classes that have been buffed that were either on the level and or were strong. Most of the other ones, like the Firewatch's archetype for snipers, support guards, DP on kill was, I think, rather weak, but we can debate on that. The whatever Flamebringer's archetype was, most of these classes were merchants. Most of these classes were either weak and or mostly weak.
Yes, you see, even when we talk about weak classes here and there will be a lot of classes that also hasn't gotten their module. In this case, we're theorizing that they're putting the modules on weaker classes first, which is, I don't think it's something that is necessary for us to say, oh, they are definitely doing this on the weaker classes. Like, and it's so bad.
This is kind of Pepe Sylvia from me. This is kind of Pepe Sylvia.
Yeah.
I agree.
At least in the beginning, I feel like it's a bit too much of a coincidence with how they did it.
You could say
Like,
that. Mhm.
It's a bit too much of a coincidence to be like, oh, they weren't trying to buff weaker classes first. It seems like they were.
The reason I say that, Cookie, is because again, when I try to put myself in the shoes of the developer, I think that if they were trying to do that, that would be a smart idea to buff the weaker classes first, because then, as I mentioned before, then it might give those weaker classes time to shine in the sun before you buff the other classes like ranged guards. Because if you buffed ranged guards first, then even when you buff even when you buff merchants or something like that, even when you buff like Firewatch snipers, then it won't matter to them. Like the meta will stay the same because range guards are still strong unless you make Firewatch snipers really really strong, which modules for the most part don't change that much. And so it would be a smarter idea to buff the ones that are weaker first of all, so that they get time to be raised on the same level or closer to the level that the stronger classes.
So the assumption here also is that if they do it on the weaker classes, people will build the weaker classes because they got a module.
I think that's just true, but that's just human psychology.
Because
yeah.
if that was the case, then I would state that if we think about it now, how many of us here actually built support guards?
Me.
Oh shit!
Wait, you
Huh?
do?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Huh?
Who have you guys built?
Palace, Doberman, and Spire.
Okay, then. Oh, I mean, I built them as well, but I built them for playing purposes. Then how about sharpshooters?
Well, listen, sharpshooters are. Don't ask me that question because I like all the sharpshooter units. I had them built before the module.
Okay, hold on.
So...
You don't hold on.
I
Are you
had them
building
built before
characters
the
based on? Are you building characters based on kit or based on?
No. So
looks?
here's what's interesting, Cookie, and this might actually fill in some of the blanks into like why I feel the way I do. I build characters for kit, but I build character because of how interesting their kit are, not how broken their kit is. I want
okay.
characters to do the interesting
Same,
things.
to be honest.
Adriana and Firewatch and Ambriel are all really cool characters. All three of those characters do really unique things inside the game. And so if I wanted them to be buffed, I'd be really disappointed if they just got an attack buff. Or they just got a buff that just like, well, you do a little bit more extra damage. You know, kind of like the thing that Ambriel and Adriana got when Firewatch got, because Firewatch got this the unique module. And so like I as a person who just wants unique things and builds characters because they're interesting to me, because Firewatch dropped the nukes and haha funny button. When I see Adriana and I'm like, oh man, I wonder what interesting buff they're gonna give to Adriana. She gets attack, she deals more damage, and she has more HP
based on the distance from the target.
No, I mean like it's a little cool. It's a little cool. But you know what's cooler?
Cool.
You know what's a little bit cooler? Firewatches.
You got to understand that Firewatch module has a weakness.
Oh no, listen, I know it's not. Again, I'm not even asking for things to be broken. I'm not asking for Firewatch to be broken. I'm saying what would make me interested in modules
It's cooler.
it's cooler if
you
every single module was like Firewatch.
It's literally like you want every operator to be a freaking party popper.
Yeah, I no, here. I'm going to I did a brain blast. I would much prefer quality over quantity, and modules are very quantity. I am okay with characters being left out and not getting modules or not getting buffs.
I would so love, by the way.
If it means that the buffs that we got were all like Dobermans or Firewatches or Deep Colors.
When we post this video, right, we should like whichever channel that we're posting this on, we should do a channel poll, ask people what's their view. I think it's gonna be very interesting. Because
I think this is gonna be
gonna say that
this is gonna be controversial.
I'm not siding the view that this is quantity.
To kind of like, I think, put the module thing a bit like, you know, just kind of like, you know, start coming down from it. I feel like what happened here is that Dio, you kind of got schmexed.
What is schmexed? Some Greek term I don't know.
You would teach me.
You
What does
play
that mean?
fighting games. Sorry.
Teach me
you
new
got
words.
schmexed is another way to say you got mixed. So you were expecting like a balance change. You were expecting a buff, you know? And modules kind of seem like that. In the beginning, people were kind of like talking
are these
about
buffs?
as if they were that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that hinted at the fact that they were supposed to be buffs.
Yeah, and then they end up being like a universal like E2.5 upgrade for everyone.
No, exactly. No, that's exactly that. Again, to go back, this is how I felt, and I feel like very strongly that I was dead on in my feel in describing my feelings. It's like, oh boy, they're finally giving me what I want. Oh yeah, my mouth is open wide. Please pour in your delicious buffs into my mouth hypergraph. What's this? Why is it just half a plate broccoli? It's like this isn't what I wanted. It's disappointment. That's why I said like that's why I recontextualized from like I'm angry at modules. So I'm extremely disappointed because you were right there. And every once in a while, Firewatch gets this cool module, and I'm like, if only they were all like this. You were
Teal wanted pizza.
please.
He wanted pizza and got broccoli.
I mean,
I
wanted
get it
pizza,
because like I think individual buffs are a lot better than giving buffs to like whole classes too.
no,
Because like
and
some
that's why I
people don't
said
need it.
that's why I said
Yeah.
if I would have
And
felt
that's
so
why I'm
much
more
better.
Team Dio now.
I would have felt so much better if they had both at the same time given individual characters that needed it unique buffs that changed how they played, and then also added a small little unique so added a universal system that was kind of like an elite 2.5. If they separated these two things, I think that would be awesome. I think I would have no problem with it. The fact that they're tied together in this weird half measure wishy-washy thing where sometimes characters are getting buffs, but at the same time Phantom is also getting the same exact buff. I'm just like, why are we here, just to suffer? Every night I feel my arm, the phantom pain. I'm sad.
I really wonder if the sadness was like, is it because the developers didn't do much, or is it a self-inflicted sadness?
This is something. I feel like this is maybe like 60-40, 60 my own self-inflicted. But on a note, as I said before, well, I didn't say this before. I feel like setting expectations is one of the most important things in life in general. I'm stealing this analogy from another streamer, but you are not going to be disappointed if you walk into McDonald's and you get a McDonald's hamburger, right? Because you walked into, you know what you're getting. You're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But if you go into a fancy 5-star restaurant and you sit down, you're like, oh boy, I can't wait for this. And you sit down, you got the nice, you're in a suit and tie, you brought your wife to this dinner, and then they serve you a McDonald's hamburger, you're gonna be pissed. Even if you paid the same amount of money, you're just gonna be mad.
And you relate this analogy to the whole module thing. So the modules look like the fancy restaurant,
Yes,
and then you feel like you
because yes, when they were announced and the fact that they were buffing a whole bunch of weak classes, and I was like, oh, I sit down at this nice fancy, I'm like, Hypergraph, you're buying me dinner. I love this. And then they open the plate and it's a McDonald's hamburger, and I'm like, shit. Son of a bitch. Or like, it's not even really. It's like a slightly better. It's like a Wendy's hamburger.
How they marketed this though, because I don't think they marketed it like the way that you're saying it. They pretty much just said that we're going to give modules to everyone.
That's why I said it's like 60-40. That's why I said it's like 60-40, or even maybe like 80-20. I'll take like a decent amount of this blame on myself. I set myself up for the expectation that these would be buffs, and then when I actually looked into it and they weren't buffed, I was just mad.
So a lot of it stems from like disappointment.
Yes, correct. Yes, I'm disappointed. Yeah, I'm disappointed because I thought that they were. Yeah, and again, I had this expectation coming from things like Fire Emblem Heroes and FGO, where when they announced that they were doing buffs, it was the kind of buffs that I liked. It was, all right, we're going to give a certain character a specific weapon in Fire Emblem Heroes that buffs specifically them in an interesting way.
Oh, I know what you're talking
yes,
about.
they'll give the weapon upgrades in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah.
I
know.
Those are really cool. Or in FGO again, they'll give specific characters specific buffs that work with their specific kit. And so I'm like, oh boy, this is Arknights' version of it. And it's like, sometimes they do that, kind of, a little bit. But they're also like,
for the most part, it's just
elite
increases.
Yeah, they're also like an elite 2.5, and most of them aren't unique at all, and most of them are just slight stat increases. Cool, right? Like that's how I feel about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
How about we bring this all back to that main topic of balance? So where are we now? We're in our discussion. Like, how do we feel towards the need for balance in Arknights?
I honestly think it's fine. I think it's fine where it is right now, to be honest. Being a completely 100.
It could be better, but let's be honest, it's a fucking gacha game, and for a fucking gacha game, it's killing it.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think it's really good because like I feel like everyone still has their niche and uses, which like a lot of many gacha games don't really have.
No, not everyone. Let's be honest.
Yeah, not everyone, not everybody, not every. Actually, wait, no, not Flamebringer, but
maybe after that module.
Yeah,
I
always ask.
Technically has a niche. It just sucks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I always ask myself this question: like, if we all really enjoy the current characters we have, we are already 200. I don't know if Ian already hit 200 flat operators, but we have so many operators in the game, so many people to choose from, but people can't build everyone, and yet AK still goes through this trouble of building more, like releasing more operators. And it's not just more operators, even new classes, by the way. There are some operators that you guys haven't seen yet, like Wandering Medics is a branch that hasn't been released. Wandering
Wandering
Medics.
What the hell is
You're
that?
gonna
Do they
you're
come
gonna
through?
really like them when they release.
That sounds
if you
awesome, to be honest.
they're not awesome. They're not as cool as you think, but they are quite. They make things easier if you actually have them because the
Is it-
later chapters there's very new game mechanics that's released.
Shining
You know
Ultra
Would it be
how
Red.
like
in
would it be like silence?
Shining Ultra
okay,
Red.
do you know like Under Tights? You had the guy that like lowers the white circle. They call it like the sanity bar. And it's very annoying.
What's this?
Like there was a white circle in
The
Under
bubble machine?
Tights.
No, like in the,
And there was
in
also
the
that in
Cthulhu, in the
Under Tights
Cthulhu
and
event, the
Lossless had
insanity
that.
meter, yeah. You know,
Yeah,
I
so
don't
they had this.
remember.
Oh god.
Okay, whatever
I
it is,
don't remember.
those two. Wait, didn't we just have an Under Tights animation?
Wait, which one
Like-
is Under Tides? Is it the Scotty
It's the
event?
one with the flowers.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
it's the
Scotty
Scotty
event
event.
with the Cthulhu man, yes. With the little the little squid flowers.
Oh, the
those
flying
things-
stuff. Oh yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
get it.
those things are annoying because they like stun your operators after the
Yes.
white
Yeah.
bar is 0. So Wandering Medics have the ability to heal the white bar.
Huh?
And it doesn't sound impactful, but
Yeah.
when you
it's-
play chapter 9, which is going to be released literally in 4 days, that's when Wandering Medics are released. by the
really?
way. Yeah.
is it,
There's 2 new
global?
Wandering Medics. No, you're gonna see another type of damage, which also has another white bar. And if you have Wandering Medics, they almost make it seem like you're taking no damage because they heal the white bar completely. So
Are there like free versions of Wandering Medics or?
yeah, you can buy them with rate vouchers.
Oh, okay.
There's a 4-star.
Oh, that
I think
makes
it's a
sense.
4-star version. Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen them before. Yeah.
Mulberry and
Okay.
Honeyberry, that's the names. Sorry?
Oh,
Sorry.
it's about like anyhow, you know, like
That-
yeah,
yeah.
Balance Starlines overall, I would say that it's in a good spot. You know, it's definitely like one of the best in the gacha gaming,
Yeah.
you know, landscape in general. I think like the only gacha games that maybe have better like balance are like, you know, idle brain dead games, which is basically like there's no balance, everything is a fucking stat stick.
Yeah, because like in Arknights, you can like clear everything with like 3 stars. You can do
3
3
stars, yeah,
right?
3 stars, yeah.
Wait, so in FGO, could you clear it with like the lowest, or could you clear like one of the harder
With-
stages with like
with
the
3
low-
stars,
Some
yes.
for
You
people
can
not
you can
necessarily.
you can
can.
clear, yeah, you can, yes.
There's certain games that I hear is not always that way. There's some games
Yeah.
where it's like it's gonna be dead
Well,
shit
yeah, with
difficult.
in anything with PvP or anything that's like remotely kind of PvP, like a leaderboard, then that's when it's really gonna be rough.
Wait, no, I feel like with Fire Emblem, you have to have the good characters to clear.
Correct, you do.
the-
You absolutely do. And
Yeah,
that's
Fire
fine.
Emblem,
So,
you
as,
absolutely need.
as a person that's played many gachas, again, to like let's wrap it up. Let me calm down here a little bit. I am complaining about like minutia here because all in all, Arknights has impeccable balance. The fact that Silver Ash was released with the game and was the best unit in the game for a very long time is incredible to me. When you look over and you have games like Fire Emblem Heroes that are just constantly on fire all the time, every second of the day. When it comes to like balance and power creep and PvP and oh god, please no. The fact that Arknights is a very well balanced game, I feel like good to great even, but definitely could be better. And so I feel like I'm raising a standard that's maybe impossible or maybe like is way higher than I should be, but that's just the way I feel. That I feel because
I
I
think
feel
it's
very
fair.
strongly. I feel very strongly about this particular part of the game because what makes me
It's-
excited, what made me excited to log into that shithole of a game, Fire Emblem Heroes, every day was maybe my character will get an awesome buff that is unique to her. Maybe they'll finally make Soleil an actual give her an actual weapon that like is unique to her, and that would be awesome. Where like some of the other characters get unique buffs. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for them to like rework my character. And with Arknights, I feel like that feeling is so rare. That feeling is so incredibly rare. But that was one of the main drivers from playing other gacha games.
Played Fire, or I
Yeah.
logged into Fire Emblem because the free rolls every banner.
You're
I won't
addicted.
lie.
That's why you roll into Fire Emblem.
You love gacha,
I love
bro.
gambling, bro. Yeah, I love the gambling,
Yeah.
dude. I can't lie.
What was the yeah, it's also as a closing thought towards this that there's I think I was referring to something about the fact that the game is always changing. There's always going to be new mechanics. There's always going to be new classes. Just like I mentioned, Wandering Medics. There's a what is the new one that was released recently? There's a new one that's released recently. They updated more tacticians. They updated more mechanic casters, the same type as Click. And there's another whole new archetype, but I can't remember what is it called exactly that they added. And yet you see the refreshing the game, and they're making sure that there's always something to entertain people about. And I think that's something that I terribly really greatly adore with this game. That they are still working hard, and I think it's fine for you to have high expectations of the game. I think we all do, because we see the potential in the game. We see that the game can be bigger and better than what it is. So that's why we ask for the developers to, come on, work extra hard and give us something that's amazing.
Yep. It was what I said the last episode, and I'll keep saying it if I have to.
Yes.
I'm the opposite of passion is not hatred, it's apathy. If I did not care about this game at all, or I was like completely done with it, then I wouldn't feel this burning passion to please Hypergriff, please just buff characters.
We all want more stuff in this game, and that we'll see more. I think where most people are setting their eyes on now is the fact that in Arknights CN, we are counting down already. They are under 2 months away from their 3rd year anniversary.
Oh boy, anniversaries.
Exactly. Anniversary is a huge occasion because that's when you see roadmaps. That's when you see future content. That's when you see the biggest game-changing shit that they can release.
Silver Ash Alter, he has a gun.
No,
I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, it's gonna be so much maddening stuff. And I always feel like in every game, the biggest event, which would be either their anniversary or the half anniversary, in this case, let's say it's the anniversary, that is like the make or break. Yeah, I mean, serious. The anniversary could even go down the drains for all we know if they really do it terribly. But I don't think that's going to be that way. We pin our hopes that they will do it well. And yeah, we're looking to see what is the next, huge change that they'll do for us. Who knows if they're going to, provide those buffs that you stated or give us even more game modes, more avenues to experience our operators.
Even though like they're putting so much work, do you guys think like this game is growing at all? I feel like I feel like it's kind of declining.
Well, population-wise, as we were talking before, population-wise, it's really hard to make a gacha actually grow after a certain amount of years. But I feel like it's doing fine because the developers are putting in a lot of work elsewhere inside of the game, outside of like modules and stuff.
I think it's stable.
Yes, it's stable.
I don't think it's declining.
Yes.
I think it's literally like there's the same number of people leaving and joining at the same time.
Which is almost
I
as
thought
good
the
as you
game
could
was
hope,
declining. I thought the game was declining earlier because I did my whole like research YouTube video series where I was talking about the number of players in AK. But we interestingly had a positive shift. Do you all know the period of time when Genshin had drama?
Yep.
Really? It decided, Arknights doesn't have drama.
You're gonna need to specify though. But...
So it was the one where the anniversary gone wrong.
Oh, the anniversary, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you gotta know that AK on the EN side, we actually celebrated our anniversary under a month after the Genshin Firehouse. So actually, from at least what I don't have numbers, but this is my own gut feeling. Like when I judge from my YouTube and my Twitch, I noticed that there was quite a lot of players who converted to AK after they saw how AK treated their anniversary compared to Genshin.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That is a positive shift. Like people are getting a little bit of awareness because we got like this second-hand marketing. Like someone did bad, so people just move over. And I think with the idea of AK having an anime, which was like quite widely talked about, and it's gonna be released this year. I think it's guaranteed. The most likely announced the release date on 3rd anniversary.
That is exciting. That's actually super exciting.
Exactly. So the game is gonna grow, and I think as now all of us in this call, we are considered like content creators, right? On the YouTube space, it's really for us to brace for impact because I think when that anime drops, we're gonna get a lot of people. Oh! I just remembered the biggest thing I need to talk about. Oh my god! Wait, we need to talk about this in this call.
Okay.
In 4 days, the Ian voices were released.
Yo, for real?
Oh, fuck.
Wait, for real? Wait, you're not joshing.
Because if the CN voices were added in chapter 9, So a lot of people are speculating that the CN voices will be added here, and if they are going to align with the fact that this is the first time a different set of voices released, it should be the date where both the English and Korean voices also release. So
Wait, you're
it's not confirmed, but I think
no,
there's a
you're getting my
huge
hopes
chance.
up a
Okay.
lot, bro.
Okay, you
You
mentioned
don't know
the-
how much content I can make.
Wait,
You
Cookie,
don't know how much content I can make
Oh,
if
wait,
those
wait.
drop, bro. I have a whole list, man. I have a whole list.
am I roboting out?
No.
No.
Interesting. You all are roboting out for
Are
me.
you what?
Sorry, but continue. But is it you didn't catch what I say?
No, you all are like glitching here in the Discord.
Are we still glitching?
Speak some more.
Okay. Anyways,
No, it's back. Okay, yeah, no,
yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. So yes, I and because we're talking about growth in Arknights here, a very very quick topic, small one. Yeah, I think with the introduction of EN voices, if AK does it right, they hire the correct voice actors, like the major ones in other English game titles, or even from Genshin right now, that can fucking drive the game up.
Taylor Swift as a Mia.
So wait, what?
If
Chris
some
Pratt.
of- bro,
Chris
Oh
Pratt
my
is
God,
cameo, bro.
please, Chris.
Pratt is
away
Chris
from the
Pratt.
memes, you know.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they invite like the big VAs of Genshin, like those that's voicing Zhongli right now, those that's voicing Eder, some of the favorite characters of that game, and then they
Crispin
come into
Freeman.
AK. Imagine some of the big voice actors. I don't know if you all know about Lily Pichu. She voices Sayu in Genshin. If she voices Suzuran, bro, people's gonna go fucking crazy. I'm very eager to see what AK does with the EN voices. If they invite the correct popular people, this game is gonna fucking blow up. That is my opinion.
Tecton as our Silver Ash?
No,
just-
Hectona Silver Ash. Oh
Bro, the guy
my
is-
God.
that guy will not affiliate himself with Arknights with any
please.
Yeah,
amount
I
of money.
know.
Holy shit. But think of it.
I don't, is that safe for the video?
That'd be funnier than Chris Pratt. That'd be funnier than Chris Pratt. Okay, no. Listen, no, it's all part of the plan. First, they're gonna announce Silver Ash 2 with a gun during the anniversary, and then immediately after, they're gonna say that Tectone is voicing Silver Ash 2. All right.
The speculation is
words.
that the first four operators with voices, if they follow CN, because CN, the first 4 voice actors that they got was for Silver Ash, Chen, Amiya, and Texas.
It's gonna be Silver.
So,
I'm telling you.
If they're gonna do the same thing, then it will be these 4 characters first.
It's gonna be Tectone.
Wait. What do you
Sorry?
Wouldn't they
Yeah.
like make a big announcement for that then? If it's really gonna happen in like 4 days? I feel
It
like
will appear in the trailer
Yeah.
of Chapter 9.
Wait.
Because in the trailer for Chapter 9 in CN, they revealed the CN voice actors in that trailer. But
Really?
we don't
Oh,
know if it will
shit.
appear in the EN trailer.
God, I'm actually so excited for the English voices. I won't even lie.
Exactly.
Well-
I'm excited not in a way of like I want to use them. I feel for popularity. I feel for publicity.
Oh, really? I want it as content.
I'm in it for the
I was
What, you're gonna
expecting
meme them?
them?
Memes, anything. Reacting live on stream.
What,
Oh my
what if
god.
they're good?
What if they're good? I'm
I'll be disappointed.
Wait, what? Wait.
What
I
what
was
if what if
definitely-
what if you end up liking them?
I want them to be
I
funny.
might. No, I will probably use them just because
I want
they
them to
might
be
be
So-
fun.
good.
You just want to
Because-
react to them.
Yeah, one react. Maybe I'll use them if they're actually good. I
I
can't
hope-
imagine anyone saying Thorns' third skill when activation. I can't, bro. I can't imagine
It's that's
that. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know how that's
Can
gonna
you
sound.
imagine if they hire voice actors with accent? Actually fitting where they're from.
Ooh, that would be
Oh,
interesting.
that would be interesting. That would
Morgan,
actually be
Yo,
Morgan Freeman is
yo.
Thor.
Come on, guys, I literally DM'd Arknights. Just cast me as all the Minoan guards, okay?
all of them. You want
Bro,
all of them?
just go ping them now. Go and ping some of the Yostar stuff. See, I want to sign up for voice actor. I want to voice this. I'm from this country. I suit this character.
I'm from Texas, and I think that I should be voicing the Western character.
I should voice
Do we
Texas.
have a Western character?
Wait, do we even? Yeah, do we even have?
I mean, her
Western
name is Texas.
No, but Texas doesn't speak Western.
characters?
I know it's a
Western.
crime.
I think Croissant is the only one.
They made her sound
Croissant.
really like her accent is like, how do you say this?
It seems
Yeah, you're the boss.
like my
Yeah.
internet is dying because you guys keep glitching out, and that's obviously on me. So,
I will.
any last closing statements that you guys want to make before my internet really gives out?
done.
Last statement. I think it's the year for Arknights.
Really?
Mm,
I mean,
think this
with
is
the anime coming out,
I think yeah, I think it's everything. Like literally, this will be the biggest game update year, the biggest anime shit that goes on. Lots of. I think even in the content creator space, it's actually gonna be explosive.
brace for impact, brace for views.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Lots of people are gonna come in and ask,
Hopefully,
"What the hell
hey,
is this?"
fingers
game?"
crossed.
Yeah,
We should get like
so
3
Uh,
That means,
Let's
according to my plan,
Dude.
I have to stop uploading videos then about Arknights for the next year. Because if I ever hit 10K, then I have to do a karaoke stream. I've made very many
Wait, what?
jokes. Oh, you don't know about that?
oh,
Yeah.
should I tell people
Well,
to subscribe to you now?
Do not do
Let's
that.
get the
Fine.
10K
Do not
faster.
Hey,
do
let's
that.
all
My-
make a
Fine,
community.
deal,
Hold on,
deal,
wait,
deal,
no,
look.
Cookie.
Hey,
I
make
want
it
to do.
community
We're going
Oh,
to
wait.
figure it out.
No,
Okay?
Cookie, I need you to understand. My Discord has gotten so desperate for this because I just like slowed down my content creation because I'm getting close. My Discord are trying to become VTubers so that then they can get
What?
big, and they literally applied to Niji Sanji so that they can shout me out on live stream. They're trying everything, but my
Bro, that's a
Discord's going
great idea.
crazy.
They are that desperate, bro. Oh my
They're
Bro,
god.
like,
would you
"Please,
would
we
you
want the
dare
karaoke stream, DM."
would you dare me to start every Twitch stream by
You know what?
shilling and telling people to
I have
subscribe
an
to you?
idea.
My community would
I
love
have
you.
an
Don't
idea.
don't do this to me. Don't make
Alright,
me
can
hit
you make a
10K.
whole video to
Don't-
tell people to subscribe to you?
Don't make me hit 10K.
I have an idea.
Don't make me. Don't sub to me. Don't do it.
I could shout you out, but we pretend that I am you because nobody has seen our faces, and you just use my singing voice.
At 9K, I'm stopping my uploads. I
Wow.
want you all to know this. At 9K, I'm stopping all content creation.
Bro, is that why you have a video, the third video title that says channel update?
Yes.
Did you just say over there that you stopped?
Oh, well, I make a meme
Like,
about
what-
it. But no, the channel update in general was saying that that was for an explanation about why I disappeared for 2 months. We don't talk about it.
But you disappeared again.
Yes, correct.
We're gonna make you
Uh,
reappear. At least for karaoke.
Cool.
It-
Made a post.
Anyhow,
Oh, you made a post already?
No,
Yep.
Vox, please, no.
Yes.
God
Yes. I
damn.
should probably add like an image or something. Fuck. I just have a link.
Yeah.
I'll
so,
redo that. I'll redo it. I'll make it fancy.
Would you like to do a closing deal?
Closing. Shit, I should have thought about this beforehand. So in general, I think that we had a little bit of, we got a little tiny bit heated. A couple of us were made to look like idiots. I'm with you, Box. In solidarity, we stand.
Oh, I swear. I swear. Okay.
Smalls, I
but-
gotta tell you, this is a good memory.
but-
Thanks for that.
But in
Dude,
general,
me-
I think we all agree, well, most of us, that Arknights is a very good game, and that we might like have
No.
squabbles of we might have squabbles about like the minutia of it, but in general, we're talking about this because we love this game, and that at the end of everything, I think that we all can agree, including the audience even, that the one that deserves the buff the most is Mastima. And with that, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for coming along, guys.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
wait, I
Oh,
give
hold
you-
on,
wait,
hold
on,
wait,
hold on,
wait,
hold on.
wait,
I'll talk to you all
wait,
later.
wait,